One day you'll just find yourself in a totally different world, where, besides monsters being a thing, people can also turn into them. Meet Wolf, a hired assassin who gets grilled alive for knowing too much. And he ends up reincarnating into Lin Yuan, a dude with zero friends, family, or girlfriend. If you think he's gonna switch careers and live a chill life, you're way off. In this world where battles never chill, he's gonna flex those assassin skills, while literally turning into Godzilla and wrecking some cocky extras. The story kicks off on a plane packed with corpses, since the dude in the black suit wiped them all out. Suddenly, the plane starts shaking, and when Wolf asks what's up, he finds out that knowing too much means he's gotta F out too. Meanwhile, a young man with white hair wakes up gasping and confused, not getting how he's there since he remembers being caught in an explosion. Out of nowhere, he feels a headache and realizes he's in a world full of monsters and people who control them. And, surprise, surprise, he's rank E. Lin Yuan has no fam or friends and is a total loser in this world. On top of that, he's always getting bullied and warned to steer clear of a girl named Sumu Shui. While the reincarnated assassin thinks this new life is some divine punishment, the original soul pops up and suggests they team up. But our hero has other plans, and even in this messed up body, he's ready to live, making the young man's spirit start to rise, knowing there's someone trustworthy to avenge him and carry on his name. Finally, the new Lin Yuan feels he can move and wonders how to get stronger since rank E souls can barely survive. He decides to dive back into his old assassination habits. Suddenly, a notification pops up saying he's activated the monstrous evolution system. A small black dragon introduces himself as Xiao Heilong, the system's guide, and explains they're now partners who'll level up together. Totally ignoring the MC, he just strolls away while the little dragon tries to get his attention. Meanwhile, we see a girl named Sumu Shui getting flowers from some weirdo who wants to date her. She obviously says no, but the guy claims he's already dealt with Lin Yuan. That makes her furious as she demands to know what happened to him, but the guy just shuts up. That's when the protagonist shows up running faster than someone racing to the bathroom, arriving right behind his attacker, wearing that face that screams he's about to stab someone. But the bald gang serving the playboy isn't about to let him do whatever he wants. They charge at our hero, who dodges them all with a single jump, and even gives one of the extras a free facial reconstruction. Getting up, the rich kid orders his goons to chase after the MC. Out of nowhere, everyone starts transforming into beasts, and the dragon explains he's still too weak to take these guys on. The first wolf lunges forward with a quick attack, making the playboy think the MC's done for. But when he looks closer, he sees his goon caught in a chokehold by the hero. With just one move, he finishes the guy right there, leaving the girl impressed since the bald dude was rank B. To make things even better, the dragon pops up saying he earned a black box as a reward for winning his first fight. He explains that treasure chests give items like gear or evolution points. So the boy gets hyped and decides to open the chest right away. Then, the little dragon announces that the reward is a random skill book from rank E to A. He touches the book, hoping for anything as long as it's not rank E. A bright light shines, and the little dragon celebrates because it's a rank A skill called White Light. He's blown away by Lin Yuan's luck and jokes they should buy a lottery ticket. But the playboy panics, surrounded by his transformed henchmen, and the vibe gets tense. Then the rich kid offers 10 million to his crew to take Lin Yuan out. Sumu Shui offers to help using her soul fusion, but he tells her to stay back to keep her safe. Faced with that, the remaining goons launch a massive combined attack against the protagonist. With slick moves, our boy dodges the strikes and gets ready to counterattack. He lands a powerful punch to the head of one of the beasts, making it feel the impact. With surgical precision, the boy's fist finds its target, and red liquid splashes everywhere. Then he jumps and delivers a sidekick to the monstrous creature. The force of the blow is so intense that the henchman is violently thrown to the ground. The victorious little dragon announces another black iron chest as a reward, and the MC warns that he's not the same old Lin Yuan anymore. Our boy charges straight at the henchman. He zips between the two beasts so fast they're left in the dust, and the enemies can't even keep up. With a double whammy, he strikes both monsters at once, and red liquid explodes everywhere from the impact. The two beasts crash down, and the rich dude screams like he just saw a spider in his room. Freaked out, he begs for mercy, but Lin Yuan's all, "Too late for that, buddy." Then he calls Sumu Shui to bounce, and she notices how strong he's become. The girl's relieved, thinking the jerk won't mess with her again. As they walk, she feels kinda awkward because, you know, a rank S master just got saved by him. Noticing her staring, the protagonist asks why she's looking at him, but she gets all flustered and denies it. She thanks him and apologizes for dragging him into the mess. But he's all about that teamwork vibe. She feels a bit down, thinking they were friends, while he's just confused about what's going on. Quickly, she says goodbye, saying it's late and she'll see him at school tomorrow. The little dragon chimes in that he's lucky, but our boy says she was a friend of the old owner, so he's gotta protect her. Then the little dragon suggests they chat about their stuff, and he nods with a serious look. Back home, Lin Yuan decides to test things out and shouts to activate the beast soul fusion. A bright blue aura surrounds him, and a spectral dragon pops up behind him. The little dragon laughs, saying his form is only good for a snack, and Lin Yuan gets why his soul was trash. Then the little dragon asks if he wants some guidance and the fused form tells him to spill the tea. He explains that he can chow down to gain evolution points and use them to level up, and he orders him to eat, leaving fused Lin Yuan looking confused. Then the guide explains that he needs to devour raw meat because beast souls are basically animals. He picks up a whole chicken, staring at it like it's a math test. The little dragon insists he eat to get strong, and he's all in, ready to evolve. With a fierce bite, the protagonist in his beast form chomps into the raw chicken without a second thought. The little dragon announces he successfully devoured the chicken and scored 5 evolution points. So he decides to use those points to bulk up, and the little dragon's totally on board. Then the guide shouts for him to grow bigger, and Lin Yuan's beast form visibly expands. Feeling pumped, the beast form says the meat's been digested and wants more for a feast. The next day, after a serious chowdown, we see his soul is now a large black lizard rank B level 7, 3 meters long, and weighing 1,540 kilograms. In class, he thinks his inner beast is looking more ripped and that its level and talent have shot up. Even though it's not food anymore, he still needs more evolution points and a chill spot to grow. Since he's been reborn in this world, he's even more determined to level up. With a fierce look, he declares he's gonna soak in the views from the top of this world. Suddenly, a group of bullies calls him out from behind, acting all tough. He spots one of the guys who always tried to intimidate him, along with Zhang Lei. These bullies were annoying because they were minions of Wu Mo Xuan, one of the rank S masters at school. Then the other guy shouts, calling him trash and telling him not to keep them waiting. With a cold stare, Lin Yuan snaps his pen and tells the bullies to scram. Surprised, the bully asks what he just said, and Lin Yuan wonders if the guy even understands English. Suddenly, Wu Mo Xuan calls him arrogant and his rank E lizard trash. With a firm look, the young man states that he plans to live his best life. Thank you very much. Irritated, the thug threatens to make him wish he never crossed paths with them, but the young man dares him to try. At that moment, teacher Zhang Yue walks in and tells everyone to get back to their seats. The bully backs off, saying Lin Yuan got lucky today but won't always have that luck. Xiao Heilong comments on the bully's arrogance while Lin Yuan thinks he's got every right to aim for rank S. The former assassin believes he'll take down Wu Mo Xuan, and his guide is all about that confidence. The teacher drops the bomb that the school's handing out beast soul crystals, and the main dude is all, "What even are those?" Xiao Heilong jumps in, saying these crystals come from monsters and are packed with energy, divided into ranks. The dragon explains that crystals are basically currency, and the higher the rank, the pricier they get, making Lin Yuan think they're a solid score. The teacher spills the tea that crystals are given based on soul rank, so everyone knows that power rules the game. Then our guy hears his guide say the strong rise up while the weak get tossed aside, and he's vibing with that survival of the fittest energy. Zhang Yue announces that Wu Mo Xuan, the rank S legend, is getting 10 primo soul crystals. The students are buzzing, saying Wu Mo Xuan and Su Mu Shui are the only rank S in the whole school, and they're reminiscing about a super strong senior. The teacher tells the talented ones not to slack off and promises she won't let them down. She then reveals Zhang Li, the rank A, is snagging 5 medium crystals, and Li Feng, the rank B, is getting 5 low-tier ones. And then there's Lin Yuan, with his black lizard rank E, who's getting 5 low-tier soul crystals. Instantly, the students start roasting him, saying his rank E is basically the bottom of the barrel and he should just quit to save face. The young dude thanks the teacher for the crystals, and she's all about encouraging him to grind hard. Wu Mo Xuan chimes in, saying those low-tier crystals are radioactive, and even he wouldn't touch them, but they're perfect for Lin Yuan. The dragon guide explains that monster crystals have radiation from nuclear stuff, but also energy he can totally absorb. Out of nowhere, the teacher offers him a primo crystal from her own stash, and he's grateful but asks if he can trade it. She's taken aback, warning him about the dangers of bad crystals, but Lin Yuan thanks her and takes the superior crystal. Next to him, Wu Mo Xuan is side-eyeing the teacher's favoritism, while Lin Yuan's holding that shiny crystal like it's a trophy. The guide spills that the superior crystal is worth 10 grand, while the inferior one is just 100, and he can swap it for 100 low-tier ones at the palace. Su Mu Shui strolls over, asking why he's still hanging around and invites him to bounce together because she's got some news. The young dude's down, and she whispers that she heard from the dean that the bully dropped out of school. The students are shook to see Su Mu Shui with Lin Yuan, wondering why she's chilling with that guy. Jealousy hits hard as the students can't wrap their heads around the luck of the weakest soul master rank E. Wu Mo Xuan is fuming, questioning why teacher Zhang Yue and Su Mu Shui are treating Lin Yuan so nicely. After class, the trio of bullies, led by the main jerk, corners Lin Yuan at the classroom exit. Fuming, he demands to know what trick Lin Yuan pulled with the teacher and how he got close to the girl earlier. The bully spills that the rich dude who messed with Su Mu Shui was supposed to team up with him for a hero moment, but the young man vanished. He accuses Lin Yuan of being behind the other guy's disappearance and claims the girl only vibes with him, not with trash. Wu Mo Xuan grabs his buddy's collar, threatening him to back off from the girl while Lin Yuan thinks about keeping it chill. He snaps back that he can't let this slide and doesn't want the girl to think he's tough just for scaring the weak. He wants her to see the real him. The troublemaker proposes a beast judgment in 7 days with 1,000 crystals on the line if Lin Yuan wins, but if he loses, he's out of here. Lin Yuan asks if the bully's really down for that bet, and the other dude says he's not scared to wager with trash. With a confident grin, the boy accepts the challenge thrown down by his rival. Outside the school, Sumu Shui is waiting, asking why it took him so long to leave the classroom. She explains that her rank S soul got her 10 top-tier crystals, and she wants to share half with him. The young dude's confused, asking half of what, and she replies soul crystals since she heard he only got the low-tier ones. She praises him for being helpful, and says he can get stronger, but doesn't get why the bad crystals are a big deal. The judgment's tough, and even rank B can flop. She doesn't need that many crystals, and he can use them since they'll be useful. The young man asks if she's not worried about failing by giving him the crystals, and she says not to underestimate her because with her rank S soul, she'll ace it even without them. Then he throws out this wild deal, promising to judge without spilling the tea on how, and if she nails it, he'll take her gift. The girl's all in, super hyped. She points out that if he sets this bar and flops, it'll be a bad look, so he better be ready. He nods and says, peace out. As he strolls away, the girl's thinking that during the beast judgment, he's gonna be blown away by her skills. Watching his buddy bounce, the little guide chimes in, saying the girl's got some serious feels for him. The boy snaps back, telling him to zip it and lead him to the palace, while the little dragon grumbles about how fast the mood swings. And just like that, they roll up to the epic entrance of the Palace of the Beast's Soul. The guide spills the tea that this spot is only for soul masters and will be the arena for the judgment, and the boy decides to swap out some crystals first. At the counter, he's all, gimme inferior crystals for this top one. And the stunned employee's like, are you out of your mind trading that? The employee hands over 100 inferior crystals, but warns there's a fee of 500 yuan, and the protagonist's all in, no hesitation. The guide raises an eyebrow, asking if the master thinks the attendants lost it, and the boy shrugs, saying the line between genius and madness is super thin, then bounces. In a deserted warehouse, the black lizard lets out a roar and its stats pop up on the screen. Rank E level 7. Feeling victorious, the guide announces that the protagonist soaked up nuclear radiation and scored 1,000 evolution points. He breaks it down. A chicken gives 5 points, but an inferior crystal? That's 1,000, and 100 of those equals 100,000 points. Soon, the guide explains that each level has 1 to 9 stars, and now he's a 7-star war beast after chowing down on those crystals. Feeling pumped, the protagonist thinks with this power, the beast's judgment is going to be a piece of cake. Fast forward 7 days, and at the Palace of the Beast's Soul, a crowd of students is buzzing for the big event. One student sweating bullets with 4 stars after using crystals, while another with 2 is shook, saying only rank S students hit up university. Wumo Xuan's crew is roasting the protagonist over the teacher's crystal, and the bully's asking if the black lizard's just a 1-star war beast now. Our protagonist throws it back, asking the rival about his prep, and Wumo Xuan's all smug, saying his soul's an 8-star beast, so it'll be easy, but the boy's not fazed. With a cheeky grin, the former assassin asks if the rival's ready to munch on a bag of inferior crystals. The students are shook, wondering if Lin Yuan's lost his marbles since Wumo Xuan's an 8-star beast, and the bully's glaring daggers at the protagonist. Before the crowd, the teacher kicks off the exam, telling everyone to grab their documents and tickets. Irritated, the rival watches the protagonist stroll away, saying he'll catch him after the judgment, and the boys all bet. In the exam zone on the 3rd floor, Lin Yuan gets called up, and he's like, yep, that's me. An examiner asks if he really awakened a rank E beast soul, and he's like, for sure. The inspector wishes him luck, but he's thinking it's a shame because he's got no shot. Settling into the simulation chair, the man announces the combat's about to kick off, and the countdown starts. With eyes shining bright, the boy gears up for the challenge ahead. He pops into a dry desert and realizes the terrain's not on his side when a roar echoes in the distance. Surprised, the young man squints at the horizon and spots a silhouette zooming across the dunes. It's a wild desert wolf, a 3-star war beast, his first enemy in the judgment. The massive creature opens its mouth wide and roars, showing off some serious fangs. The boy lands a precise strike and the beast drops, wondering why it's so weak. The dragon guide asks if the master's not going to fuse with the fallen beast. He replies that beasts this weak don't even need that and plans to use this as a warm-up. In the control room, the examiner's mind is blown, wondering how the boy cruised through the first phase. Back in the desert, the boy takes down more wolves that come at him like it's a buffet. Shocked, the inspector calls over a colleague to check the monitor, and the other's like, what's going on? The first one's confused about how he took down a 3-star wolf without fusing. Astonished, both realize the student didn't even use fusion once. In the simulation, the young man lands a solid punch on another wild wolf's snout. The creature stumbles back after the impact of the boy's precise strike. Determined, the former assassin keeps battling the beasts that keep popping up. Again, the protagonist charges in, and the wolf goes flying like it just got hit by a truck. The inspectors are totally shook, and one of them calls him a monster because, honestly, this has never gone down before. He yells that it's impossible and wonders if this is cheating since the exam is supposed to test the beast's soul. The colleague jumps in, saying it's not cheating if he crushes all the stages, and that the third stage is where the weaklings get weeded out. He mentions it's nearly impossible to ace the third phase without a beast soul, and sighs over the rank E. With a serious vibe, the boy stares down the challenge, while the inspector thinks it's a bummer because he could have been a legend. Surrounded by fallen wolves, the guide warns him not to get too comfy because the real test is just getting started. Out of nowhere, a massive flaming beast shows up with a roar that could wake the neighbors. The boy is totally caught off guard, and the guide identifies the creature as a 6-star wild wolf king war beast. He thinks that taking down a 6-star beast requires some serious talent, and only the brainiacs pass in their first year. With a fierce look, he declares it's time to unleash his full power for everyone to see. Then he shouts beast fusion, and the little guide is hyped because the moment has finally come. In a flash, a bluish aura wraps around him, and his transformation kicks off in the most epic way. His monstrous form emerges, and a panel pops up showing armored black lizard General Beast 7 stars, and the guide can't help but comment on the evolution. Transformed, Lin Yuan lets out a roar that could scare a lion, showing off his insane new strength. As the Wolf King growls, the boy thinks that even with a weak lizard soul, he can totally become a Tyrannosaurus. In the control room, an inspector asks if his colleague misread the rank E, and the other dude is like, nah, check again. The astonished officer says the beast is general size, and having this kind of power in just a few days is at least rank S talent. He goes on to say that even rank S can't pull this off, and only SS or SSS talent could achieve such a wild feat. Then Lin Yuan, in beast mode, charges forward and takes down the Wolf King with a single, epic blow. The examiners are left speechless, and one of them is in shock because the 6-star war beast just got wrecked. The inspector tells his colleague to keep recording the data and says he'll let the chief examiner know, and the other dude is like, hurry up. Excited, he thinks this time the city of Zhenhai is finally getting a genius who will blow everyone's mind. Watching more wild wolves close in, our boy says the difficulty of the judgment is a total letdown, and the 4th stage kicks off. The guide explains that the first 3 phases are just warm-ups, and he can keep pushing for better results. Our protagonist spots a 6-star wild wolf king and 10 3-star wolves ready to test the master's skills, but he thinks this level of challenge is way too easy for his current power. Soon enough, the wolves charge in, but they're met with a massive impact from the boy. With his insane strength, he smacks one of the wolves, sending it flying like it just got hit by a meteor. Once again, the student easily takes down the wild creatures that dared to step up in the test. Looking all fierce in his beast form, he surveys the fallen wolf bodies scattered around him in the desert. With a fiery gaze, he wonders how many more phases this beast judgment has in store. Meanwhile, the chief examiner Zhao Shan, he asks, annoyed, why his colleague rushed to find him. In response, the officer explains that he came because a candidate's performance is off the charts, asking Zhao to check it out. He continues, saying the talent shown by the boy doesn't match his initial ranking, and the chief brushes it off. The officer then drops the bomb that the student has rank E talent, and the chief is surprised he even dared to participate. Indignant, the superior asks if he was called just because of a rank E candidate, and the other insists he should watch. This makes the chief examiner doubt that a master with rank E soul could pass the test while everyone's glued to the monitor. On the screen, the protagonist's beast form is still going hard against the enemies that keep popping up. Shocked, the chief's eyes widen, unable to believe what he's seeing on the monitor. He then asks if that's really a rank E beast soul, and the subordinate confirms that's why he called him. At that moment, the inspector informs that the young man has at least general beast combat ability and is in the 10th stage. Thoughtfully, the chief remembers that the 10th stage is super tough with 10 7-star wolf kings. In this, he realizes that passing would show off his general skills, making his buddy say he'd be a target for everyone. The inspector chimes in that if nothing crazy happens, he's got a bright future ahead and could totally be a Lord Beast Soul Master. But the chief tells everyone to chill because it's still a mystery if the kid will actually pass the 10th stage. Back in the desert, the young dude thinks the last phase is going to be packed with general rank monsters, but all he sees are 10 wolf kings. With a fierce look, Lin Yuan stares down the wild wolves howling and getting ready to pounce. Then the main character, in his beast form, yells at the wolves that they're all trash. Without a second thought, he charges in, saying no matter how many show up, they're still just a bunch of trash. Amid the fallen foes, Lin Yuan stands tall as more wolves close in on him. Out of nowhere, 2 beasts leap at him, fangs bared, but the wolves' teeth shatter against the epic defense of the student. In the control room, the inspectors are shook as the defense holds up against a bunch of 7-star war beasts. One inspector says the stats show a perfect rank, and Lin Yuan is just crushing it. If anyone claims this is really rank E, the inspector can't believe it while the young man keeps pushing back the wolves. Seeing this, the guy jokes he'd give up everything if that was truly rank E, until they spot blood flying everywhere. With fire in his eyes, the transformed hero wonders if only 6 opponents are left. His beastly form stands strong against the remaining wolves, who are gearing up for another wild attack. In the control room, the examiners are mind blown, and one of them asks what kind of power this is. So, Lin Yuan, in his beast form, opens his mouth, and a crazy light starts to shine. The last creatures are shown just before they get totally swallowed by the intense light. He decides to finish them all in one go by unleashing a massive dragon breath. After the epic energy blast, the protagonist stands tall and victorious on the battlefield. In the control room, the inspectors are left speechless, with one of them wondering what kind of skill that was. As the dust and smoke clear, the destruction from the young man's attack is revealed. A voice announces that candidate Lin Yuan has passed all phases of the Beast Judgment exam. The transformed hero then thinks the Beast test was way easier than he thought. As he passes all phases, he wonders how many people will be totally shocked. The young man remembers that even Wumo Xuan, with his rank S talent, couldn't pass all stages of the test. He wants to use this exam to show that even a rank E beast soul can pack a punch, and the test wraps up. Back in reality, the young dude with white hair slowly opens his eyes while chilling in a chair. On the monitor, his data pops up, showing his name and rank E lizard beast soul. One of the inspectors is stunned, saying it's been less than 2 weeks since he woke up and he's already at rank general 3 stars. Chief Zhao gives the boy a shout out for passing all phases, asking if he knows what this means, making the young dude smile. Another inspector says it's not just good news, since with his talent and power, the best universities will be fighting over him as a student. At this moment, the inspector says if nothing unexpected happens, the results will drop this afternoon, and notes how chill the young man is. Then the student thanks the 3 examiners, saying if there's nothing else, he'll bounce first. But Chief Zhao asks him to hang on a sec, and the young man turns around, asking if there's more. Curious, the chief questions why his talent is rank E, wondering if there was a mix-up in the soul awakening. The boy shakes his head, explaining that his beast soul was weak when he woke up, and thanks the examiner for the concern. A subordinate asks the chief if he believes what the boy said, making his partner say he didn't seem to be lying. In this, the chief thinks that even though the young man pulled off an insane result, he's not cocky, which is pretty rare for someone with his talent. Outside, a colleague spots Lin Yuan and calls him out in the crowd of anxious students. Soon after, Sumu Shui waves excitedly at the protagonist who just stepped out of the testing area. The MC asks if she made it through, to which the young woman replies that yes, she reached the 9th stage of the test. In this moment, he realizes the girl is super curious about his results, and he hesitates because, honestly, a rank E usually struggles. With a sly grin, the protagonist thinks she's going to be totally shook later. Then he suggests grabbing some food since they just wrapped up the exam, and boom, the girl yanks him along, totally not even caring about the exam results. Lin Yuan thinks that unless something wild happens, no one's going to beat his score, and she's hyping him up. At 1 in the afternoon, the Beast Soul Palace Square is packed with people ready to see the exam results. An arrogant dude shoves his way through the crowd, and everyone recognizes him as Wumo Xuan, the rank S genius. This guy's bragging about clearing the 7th phase, claiming it's an achievement that would have totally locked in first place before. He's thinking about how his parents dropped mad cash on a spiritual pill for him. For this exam, he prepped hard, using a pill to unlock his beast soul's potential. Then he wonders why Lin Yuan's MIA, and one of his lackeys says he's probably hiding because he's rank E. Another thug laughs, saying if it were him, he'd be hiding his face too, calling Lin Yuan a coward. While Wumo Xuan is pumped that Lin Yuan's gone, our boy shows up with Sumu Shui, complaining about the trek. At that moment, the bullies spot the couple strolling and chatting happily in the square. Fuming, Wumo Xuan calls the protagonist trash for daring to show up next to Sumu Shui. He pokes fun at him, noticing how chill he is, making the young man say he's actually cool with his result. Then the bully mocks him for being humble, asking if he even cleared the first phase. The thugs crack up while the couple walks by, hearing one of them laugh about a rank E even participating. Suddenly, the arrogant student asks Lin Yuan if he remembers their bet, and Lin Yuan says he almost forgot. With that, Lin Yuan throws down the gauntlet, saying since he brought it up, he better be ready to lose, which makes his rival fume. A clock chimes, and an announcement rings out that the exam results are finally here for everyone. Quickly, the crowd turns to the big screen, buzzing about who's gonna snag first place. While Wumo Xuan is grinning, thinking he's got first locked down, the scoreboard shows him in 3rd place. The boy is shook, wondering if there are 2 people better than him. The scoreboard updates, and Sumu Shui pops up in 2nd place after clearing the 9th phase of the beast test. Stunned, Wumo Xuan can't believe the girl came in 2nd, thinking her talent totally outshines his. Still confused, he wonders who the genius is that managed to snag first place in the exam. A cold sweat drips down his face as he stares at the scoreboard, still in disbelief about the results. Then the big screen reveals Lin Yuan as first place for clearing the 10th phase, and he faces his rival with a smirk. The bully can't wrap his head around how a rank E passed the 10th phase of the test. Other students are gasping, saying he cleared all 10 phases and questioning what soul he awakened. The crowd's calling him a dark horse, roasting Wumo Xuan, who, despite all his bragging, ended up in 3rd, leaving him red-faced. Lin Yuan strolls over to the humiliated rival, reminding him he lost and now has to keep his end of the bet. With a victorious grin, the protagonist asks if he wants to eat the raw crystals or spice them up a bit. The crowd starts whispering and buzzing about Lin Yuan being the top dog in this tough exam. Su Mu Xue then realizes his ranking is higher, finally getting why he wasn't sweating her result. Desperate, the arrogant student screams that this can't be real, refusing to accept his epic fail. He points at Lin Yuan, accusing him of cheating, saying with rank E talent, there's no way he could pull that off. The people around are wondering if it's true and if cheating in the beast test is even possible to reach the top. Lin Yuan, with Su Mu Xue backing him up, asks if the rival really thinks he'd need to cheat to beat him. He then demands to know how a rank E beast soul managed to clear all 10 phases of the test. The crowd's buzzing that rank E is the weakest, questioning how he passed all the phases without cheating. In this moment, the boy asks who said a rank E can't clear everything, making his rival threaten to report his so-called cheating to the arbitration. He's totally confused about what arbitration even is, so his partner breaks it down, saying it's just a way for people who doubt the results to get some clarity. With that, Lin Yuan tells his rival to do whatever, insisting he stick to the bet, calling him a sore loser. Classic move. Out of nowhere, a massive pressure hits, and a dude with a bear-like vibe rolls in, making the crowd go silent. Talk about a mood shift. The protagonist and his little creature feel that intense pressure, realizing they're in the presence of a beast soul master lord. No biggie, right? The students whisper that it's Chief Examiner Zhao Shan and his 7-star Earth Fury Bear. Sounds like a Pokemon, honestly. He shouts, asking who even mentioned arbitration in the palace. Spoiler alert, it's about to get spicy. Wumo Xuan bows, saying it was him, claiming Lin Yuan's result is totally whack. He argues that a rank E clearing all the phases is just plain ridiculous, wishing the palace would spill the tea on this. Chief Zhao calmly says he just happened to be there and saw the whole exam go down. Then he gives Wumo Xuan a look, asking if he thinks the chief helped Lin Yuan cheat. Bold move, my dude. The rival insists everyone knows what rank E means and questions how Lin Yuan cleared 10 phases. He demands Examiner Zhao show Lin Yuan's combat record, but the examiner shuts that down, saying the rules won't allow it. Since the record is off the table, the rival claims he has a way to prove if Lin Yuan's results are legit, and the chief tells him to spill it. The bully suggests a fight. If Lin Yuan wins, he's the real deal. If he loses, he's a fraud. No pressure, right? The crowd buzzes, saying Wumo Xuan is about to expose Lin Yuan, and the girl warns he's out for blood, but Lin Yuan's chill about it. The little dragon says the rival wants to prove Lin Yuan's worthless, but the protagonist thinks it's a perfect chance to settle the score. Then Wumo Xuan asks the examiner if he can challenge Lin Yuan, and the man nods, but says he needs to check with Lin Yuan first. The crowd's on edge, wondering if Lin Yuan will take the bait, and Su Mu Xue thinks he has to accept or he'll look guilty. With a confident grin, the rival asks if our boy has the guts to accept his challenge. The girl says he can back out if he's not feeling it, but Lin Yuan's all in, ready to teach a lesson he won't forget. Then Lin Yuan raises his hand and announces to everyone that he's down to fight. The crowd gasps, saying it's wild for a rank S to challenge a rank E, but the examiner says the fight isn't even needed since both are geniuses from Zhenhai City. Wumo Xuan gets heated, asking why everyone's backing Lin Yuan so hard. He insists if Lin Yuan didn't cheat, he should fight and tells Examiner Zhao to witness his downfall. The chief agrees, saying they can battle in the Beast Soul Palace arena, and anyone who wants can join. The scene shifts to the Grand Arena, where the crowd is hyped, cheering like it's the Super Bowl. In the center, the examiner says they can start if they're ready. But first, he's got to lay down the rules. He explains it's a training match with full strength but no killing. If someone surrenders, the fight stops, and breaking the rules means you lose. The two boys shout that they get it, and the judge announces the fight is officially on. The rival warns Lin Yuan he's about to get what he asked for, but the protagonist says if the guy kneels and begs, he can forget the bet. Furious, the bully screams that he's asking for trouble and activates his beast soul fusion. Then the opponent's beast soul pops up, revealing a massive, terrifying skeletal insect king. Yikes. The audience is shook, commenting that this is an insane and powerful rank S soul. The insect king charges at Lin Yuan, who seems to be pushed back by the sheer force of the attack. As the insect king's eye glows, the rival thinks if Lin Yuan is such trash that he won't even use his soul fusion. Curious spectators wonder why he's not fusing and if a rank E who beat 2 rank S really cheated. But Su Mu Xue thinks about how Lin Yuan's soul is just a rank E lizard, and if the rival goes too far and the judge doesn't step in, she'll swoop in to save him. The little creature says she can't hear him but promises Lin Yuan won't lose to that trash, no way. With a grin, the protagonist says, since the rival is hyped to see his beast soul fusion, he'll give them a show. He jumps into the air and yells beast soul fusion while a bright yellow energy wraps around him like a cozy blanket. Moments later, a massive blue dragon bursts onto the scene, facing off against the rival's creepy skeletal insect king. The crowd is totally shook, wondering what in the world that is and if it's really a rank E beast soul. The opponent can't believe his eyes and questions how something so low rank can look so epic, and how Lin Yuan leveled up so fast. Lin Yuan then asks, so what if his beast soul is rank E? Who said a rank E beast soul is automatically weaker than a rank S? The skeletal king stares at the blue dragon, completely stunned. With a powerful strike, the dragon attacks, and the rival thinks if he gets hit, he'll be toast, or at least in serious trouble. Panicking, he realizes that Lin Yuan's attack power is at least beast general level now. He wonders how he got so strong in just a few days, like did he drink a magic smoothie or something? As the dragon charges forward, the opponent realizes he can't dodge in time. He refuses to lose to a trash rank E because he's got a rank S soul and tries one last desperate counterattack. The protagonist can't believe the bully actually dares to fight back, and the insect is shook by this. Then the dragon's claw grabs the enemy's horn with all its might to finish the fight. Under pressure, the rival desperately asks what the protagonist is planning to do to him. Then the blue dragon asks what he thinks he's doing while slamming the insect king into the arena floor. With a swift move, the dragon launches the insect king into the air with insane force. Soon after, the protagonist tosses the opponent around on the arena floor, kicking up a massive dust cloud. Down and out, the skeletal insect king shows clear signs of his epic fail against the dragon. The audience screams in shock, realizing it's a total one-sided beatdown and that Professor Zhao was just shielding Wu Moxuan from total embarrassment. Surprised, Su Muxue thinks she knew Lin Yuan wasn't weak, but for a rank E to be this strong is next-level shocking. On the ground, the rival can't believe he lost to a rank E beast soul while he's supposed to be a powerful rank S. The dragon then struts over to the defeated insect king, flexing his superiority right in the arena. He declares the opponent has lost, but the fallen insect king screams back, questioning who said that. Then the insect king reveals a shiny red pill in his hand, ready to pull a fast one. With his eyes glowing red, the rival downs the pill, trying to flip the script in this battle. Examiner Zhao realizes in horror that the opponent just used a forbidden explosive blood pill. As soon as he eats it, his strength skyrockets from 8-star Beast Warrior to 3-star Beast General. The side effect? He'll be recovering for a month, but he's ready to win by any means, calling the creature a clown. Furious, the judge yells that Wu Moxuan broke the rules and therefore lost, ordering him to stop right now. Lin Yuan says the rival is way weaker than he thought, and the opponent glares at the dragon with his new power. The protagonist, in his draconic form, wonders if he still wants to fight after popping that pill. With a furious roar, the insect king, now pumped up by the pill, vows to take Lin Yuan down right here. But our boy stays totally chill in the chaos. The rival wonders why the protagonist is so calm when he's way stronger now with the pill. Suddenly, the dragon opens his mouth, and a wild energy starts to build up. Desperate, the enemy screams he can't lose and charges at the protagonist, yelling for him to die right there. After charging up a massive energy sphere, he gets ready to blast the enemy. Getting hit head-on, the skeletal insect king tries to resist, but is clearly overpowered by Lin Yuan's epic blue dragon strength. He fires a gigantic energy beam that slams into the rival with full power. The impact sends the insect king crashing into the arena wall, breaking it like a piñata. Back in human form, the bully collapses, knocked out cold with visible injuries. The examiner announces that Lin Yuan has won and asks if anyone dares to object to his results. Frightened, the crowd starts buzzing about how Wu Moxuan totally broke the rules to get stronger. But Lin Yuan? He's on another level. Then the examiner orders the rival to be taken to the medical room, saying he'll be out of commission for a month or two thanks to that pill. As they carry the rival away, one guard jokes that no top school will want him now, while another adds that he totally had this coming. The chief examiner gives a shout out to Lin Yuan for his win, and Lin Yuan thanks him for keeping an eye on things. Then he's all curious about the gratitude, and Lin Yuan says it's for the chance to smack his rival with some serious skill. Besides being an examiner, the dude spills that he's also a recruiter for Beastu University and invites Lin Yuan to roll with him. Then the little dragon chimes in about the Modu Beast Academy, which is basically the VIP club of schools. With a grin, our boy asks if Professor Zhao should show a bit more love since he snagged first place. The professor is shook because Lin Yuan is thinking about the perks from the famous academy. But he says if Lin Yuan joins, he'll score a full scholarship with all kinds of dope resources. Meanwhile, Lin Yuan's doing some quick math, realizing the crystals are worth 200 grand and the pills are around 250. Professor Zhao claims this is the best deal, showing how sincere Modu Academy really is. Out of nowhere, a beefy blonde dude charges at them, yelling that they've barely started recruiting and already want Lin Yuan for Modu. This new guy is Chung Yu-hu from Yanjing Academy, and Zhao says a talent like Lin Yuan can't just go to one school. He warns Lin Yuan not to get played, saying Modu is weaker and offers 500 grand plus more crystals and pills. The crowd is buzzing about how generous Yanjing Academy is, treating Lin Yuan like a total genius with all these offers. Fuming, Professor Zhao yells that Chung Yu-hu is trying to snag someone he's already got his eye on right in front of him. Then Chung Yu-hu asks if Zhao Shan, he thinks he intimidates him while his beast soul pops up behind him. The two beast souls unleash their crazy auras and Lin Yuan watches the showdown between the recruiters. Surprised, he feels the intense pressure and thinks this is the combat power of beast souls at a lord level. Out of nowhere, a new pressure rolls in, and a dude in a hat shows up, wanting to recruit Lin Yuan to keep the peace. Lin Yuan realizes this new vibe is stronger than the other two and wonders if this guy is the real deal. Coming from Shuchuan Academy, Ding Lushan offers 300,050 crystals plus 10 pills. Plus, he says Lin Yuan will earn 20 crystals each semester until he graduates, and Lin Yuan thinks Shuchuan is loaded. Other professors start shouting offers, and Lin Yuan figures they want him for some free promo for their academy. Soon, Chung Yuhu tells everyone to chill and asks brother Lin Yuan what his final choice is. Bowing, Lin Yuan thanks everyone but says he's only considering Yanjing and Modu for now. Ding Lushan says if Lin Yuan changes his mind, he can hit him up, and Lin Yuan says he'll reach out if he needs to. Eagerly, the two main recruiters ask which academy Lin Yuan is picking. Lin Yuan tells the two veterans he'll give them an answer before the recruitment festival kicks off. They agree to wait for his response and remind him to think it over. The two men walk away still bickering, one accusing the other of wanting someone he's already eyeing, while the other calls him shameless. Then they start throwing around some wild insults as they drift away from Lin Yuan. Suddenly, the system congratulates Lin Yuan since Wumo Xuan was judged as Master of the Soul, and he scores a silver chest. Then Sumu Shui rolls up, praising Lin Yuan for being #1 and attracting schools, and asks which one he's picking. He says he's torn between Yanjing and Modu, and she asks if he doesn't want her to come along, which he thinks is cool, but has his own plans. He mentions that Yanjing is stronger, but she's leaning toward Modu, so he asks why. She replies that there's someone at Yanjing she really doesn't want to run into. Lin Yuan thinks she's not keen on talking about it, so he decides to drop it. Back home, he checks out the silver chest and finds out he scored 10,000 evolution points and something else. The chest pops open, revealing the red flaming claw, a wicked weapon from the Beast General, and the little dragon is totally vibing with it. He spills the tea that the flaming claw burns enemies and dishes out extra fire damage, and the boy thinks that's pretty epic. The creature brags that Beast General weapons are worth tens of thousands, and the young dude is shook by that price tag. The familiar chimes in, saying that King Beast weapons cost millions, and Lin Yuan is all about leveling up to that status. Then the little dragon hits him with a question about the academy, and the boy's curious if the little guy has any deets. He says Yanjing trains experts, while Modu trains the top-tier champs, and he thinks Lin would vibe more with Modu, so the young man asks why. He explains that they're all about the fight, with everything revolving around power, special rankings, and resources based on that. So, Yanjing is chill, but Modu is a savage coliseum, and the boy's wondering if he really wants to get stronger. With fire in his eyes, Lin Yuan decides to roll with the Modu Beast Academy, because a coliseum is where he belongs. In Zhao Shanhe's office, Professor Chung Yuhu storms in, fuming and calling him out. Zhao, grinning, drops the news that Lin Yuan has already signed up for Modu, while the annoyed dude asks if Sumu Shui is also in. Professor Zhao is mind-blown that he got that info, asking if he knows her. Chung Yuhu claims he knows a lot, warning Zhao to keep an eye on her at Modu, because her background is a whole mess. He remembers chatting with the protagonist and Sumu Shui, asking the professor when Modu will dish out the resources. Zhao explains that it's usually after enrollment, but he could totally ask for it early for the boy. He then checks with Sumu Shui if she needs the advance, but she's like, nah, hers can wait. The professor notes she doesn't seem to need cash like Lin Yuan, and Chung reminds him to take good care of the girl. 3 days later, at the Beast Soul Palace, he scores 500,000 in funds and a bunch of goodies, including the Black Thorn armor. The little dragon explains that the armor boosts scales, and the protagonist realizes how much the school values him. But honestly, he thinks the real prize is the 500 grand and the 5 million points. Back at the counter, the attendant asks how many inferior soul crystals he wants this time, and the protagonist goes for 5,000. The attendant is totally blown away by the massive order. With that, the protagonist loads up a truck with all the crystals he just snagged. Inside the ride, Yuan waves thanks while the seller is all chill about it. As he watches him drive off, the seller wonders if the young dude bought that many crystals to feed pigs. Back home, the protagonist thinks it's a hassle to go to the warehouse, so he's leaving the crystals at home for now. When his familiar mentions he can absorb the crystals, Yuan's like, wait, can he do that without beast soul fusion? Once he finds out it's all good, he's curious why that wasn't mentioned earlier, and the little dragon explains that absorption is just slower. Chilling on his bed, the young man starts the slow grind of absorbing energy from the crystals. Soon, his familiar cheers him on as he absorbs nuclear radiation and racks up 1,000 evolution points. 15 minutes fly by, and he realizes the pace is slow, needing to absorb 48 a day to speed things up. Suddenly, his body goes through a mutation during the absorption, giving Yuan a physique that's resistant to nuclear radiation. The little dragon explains that with this new physique, he won't have to sweat any nuclear radiation. Our protagonist remembers that nuclear weapons are used against monsters, realizing he's now immune to those forbidden zones. Determined, he declares he's got 2 months to absorb everything and get stronger, with his familiar hyping him up. Meanwhile, in the Modu Beast Academy meeting room, Director Wang Ting kicks off a meeting. He thanks everyone for their hard work and announces that the Academy's recruitment is all wrapped up. Plus, the director notes that this year's freshmen are looking way better than in the past, not just at their academy. Wang Ting believes it'll take ages for these geniuses to grow, and he might be retired by then. He reveals he's been cooking up a new plan with the directors of other academies. With excitement, the director announces they're throwing a global competition for freshmen to find out who the real monster among the geniuses is. The teachers are totally vibing over the competition. Some think it's a solid way to teach the brainiacs some humility, while others are stressing about keeping their focus. But then, Director Wang Ting drops the bomb that the competition is already set in stone, and he gathered everyone to spill the tea on it. He's hoping the crew can whip up a list of names for the participants. No pressure, right? Someone pipes up asking how many peeps they need, and the director says they're looking at 12 for now, with 10 main players and 2 backups. One of the teachers throws out the idea to just pick students based on the dragon ranking. Another teacher jumps in, saying that ranking is fire, no weak links there. The dragon ranking is one of the 3 big deals at Modu Academy, and only freshmen with less than a year can throw down a challenge. Wang Ting mentions that the ranking is all about combat, which might leave out talents like Song Lan, whose support beast is a total team player. An instructor suggests they use the ranking as a guide, but not as a hard rule since the competition might involve team battles. The director hypes up the global competition being streamed, saying it's a chance to put Modu on the map, so everyone better bring their A game. Meanwhile, Professor Chung Yu-hoo strolls over to Zhao, who's grinning at her tablet, and he's curious about what's got her so hyped. Chung snatches the tablet, and even though Su Mu Jue's talent isn't bad, he spots a rank E talent, and Zhao tells him to keep scrolling. He's shook to see that even though Lin Yuan is rank E, he crushed 10 stages in the test, and Zhao says she wouldn't believe it either. The director then wonders if the kid is a bit odd, and Chung agrees, calling him a genius and can't wait to see him in action when classes kick off. Back in the zone, the young dude is meditating in a cloud of crystal dust, and the little dragon is hyped, saying he trained hard for a whole month. Suddenly, a notification pops up while he's holding a crystal, telling him he learned the rank S skill Nuclear Energy Breath. He's curious about the skill, and the pet explains it shoots out beams, costing a cool 1,000,000 points to learn. Of course, he's all in because a rank S skill is totally worth it, so Yuan learns the Nuclear Energy Breath, waving goodbye to those points. His familiar tells him he absorbed 2,500 crystals this month and still has 1.5 million evolution points left. Then Lin Yuan decides to drop 500,000 points to bulk up first, and the pet's all for it, starting to grow right there. The boy keeps spending 200,000 for scales and claws, and 300,000 for the reactor. Checking out the status screen, the young man analyzes the results while the little dragon chills next to him. At this point, his familiar tells him he's now a top beast general, and the boy wonders if he was too greedy expecting the Beast King rank. Then the pet reminds him he still has 2,500 crystals, warning that if he absorbs everything, he'll have 2.5 million points. The protagonist thinks about the points needed for the Beast King rank, and the little dragon suggests selling higher-grade beast soul crystals. Determined, Lin Yuan decides he's gonna hit that Beast King rank before classes start, and he gets back to absorbing energy. A month flies by, and at the train station, the protagonist hears someone calling his name while waving a piece of paper. Turning around, he spots Su Mu Shui bouncing with excitement next to Professor Zhao, who's also there. The girl greets him, and Professor Zhao says he's back home and will take them to school, so they hop on the train. Once they're on board, the master asks what the young man was up to for the last 2 months and why he ghosted on his messages. He asks how she did, and Su Mu Jue says she hit the rank 3-star beast general. The girl points out he was already a 3-star general 2 months ago, thinking he should have leveled up even more. The professor announces they've arrived, inviting them to check it out, and Lin Yuan notices the room setup is super fancy. Lin Yuan remembers that regular seats cost over 100,000, and Professor Zhao has a private room, flexing hard. At this point, Zhao tells them that if all goes well, they'll reach the academy by night, and the young man asks what that means. He explains that on the way, the train might run into beasts going at it, which they call a beast horde. The accidents refer to hordes of beasts surrounding the train or even a beast emperor trying to take them down. With that, the professor reassures them, saying the odds are low, and even if it happens, he'll have their backs to escape. Lin Yuan is totally shook that Zhao Shan, his combat skills can only hold up for 5 minutes against a beast emperor. He's leaning against the wall, realizing that the beast emperor rank is way scarier than he thought. Out of nowhere, the train starts shaking like it's in a mosh pit, and Su Mu Shui almost takes a tumble while the professor just chills in his seat. An employee bursts in, telling Mr. Zhao that the radar picked up a horde of beasts coming in hot. The dude's sweating bullets, saying they'll hit the horde in 10 minutes, and the young crew is watching, all wide-eyed and worried. With a ghostly pale face, the employee drops the bomb that they're definitely about to run into that beast horde. Zhao asks how big the horde is, and the employee spills the tea. 3 beast kings, 50 generals, and 200 war beasts. Then the professor chimes in, asking if the two want to tag along since it's just a small horde and a solid training sesh before school. Lin Yuan jumps at the chance, and the pumped-up girl says she's in for this wild ride. Outside the train, speeding along, Beastmasters are already gearing up for the epic showdown. The master asks if the young dude knows how to drive the vehicle, and he's all, Shouldn't be a problem, while the girl admits she's never even touched a steering wheel. Zhao tells the girl to roll with Lin Yuan and then revs up his motorcycle, telling them to keep up. Lin Yuan watches the master zoom off into the distance, thinking that was a bit reckless to bail so fast. He calls the girl over to hop on the ride he's about to drive while he adjusts himself in the seat. The girl's all skeptical, asking if he really knows how to drive, and he's like, I don't, but I'll figure it out on the go. With his foot on the pedal, the dude gets ready to hit the gas and chase after the professor into battle. The motorcycle roars to life, and the girl grips him tight as they zoom through the desert. He thinks riding this is kinda like a regular motorcycle, grinning at the thrill of it all. The young dude asks about the horde, and the master warns them to bounce if they see any strong beasts, 'cause safety first, right? Suddenly, the professor activates his beast soul fusion, and a blinding light surrounds him. In a flash, a massive armored creature takes the professor's place, roaring with authority that could wake the neighbors. The giant is now surrounded by a pack of fierce wolves, and the young crew watches the scene unfold, all tense and ready. He slams down with the earth claw, smashing the ground and cracking it like a bad phone screen. Lin Yuan is mind-blown, thinking a rank lord master is this strong, while a rank crown could probably level mountains. But the other wolves aren't backing down and keep charging forward to take on the enemy. The young ones also activate their beast soul fusion, gearing up to fight with their epic transformations. These weak monsters are no match for them. Lin Yuan faces off against a spiky creature coming at him while the ice fox conjures up a bunch of ice spikes. She launches her ice spikes, yelling for Lin Yuan to dodge. Even though her ice spikes hit the enemy, she realizes it's not doing much damage. Then the blue dragon unleashes its red fire claw, sending the enemy flying like it just got hit by a truck. The ice fox is shook because that spiky boar was a peak beast general, and Lin Yuan took it down in one hit. Meanwhile, the train keeps chugging along the tracks, cruising through the desert. Inside the train, an employee calls his veteran, asking if the radar's on the fritz. He checks the screen, wondering if the purple light means a beast king, then spots 4 points. One of them disappears, and he realizes a beast king can hide its aura, so they gotta alert the front line. But oops, one of the beast masters at the front line has already been taken out by a shadowy figure. In the desert, that silhouette looms over the fallen beast master, looking all ominous. Meanwhile, the ice fox asks Lin Yuan how many beast generals they've taken down, and he guesses it's about a dozen. Suddenly, Sumu Shue spots something zooming in fast and looks freaked out, pointing at the danger. A purple spike appears out of nowhere, aiming for her neck. But before it can land, Lin Yuan jumps in to save the day. The creature vanishes in front of him and pops up behind, ready to strike. But Lin Yuan's defense is way stronger than that little creature's attack. He catches it midair and unleashes his new power right into the monster's mouth. The energy explodes, and the fox watches as the monster gets hit hard. Out of nowhere, Master Zhao shows up behind the blue dragon, checking out how the battle's going. Now in human form, Lin Yuan picks up a purple crystal and thinks about how much cash he could score selling it. His professor then asks how he took down the Black Claw beast, and the young man wonders if he saw the whole thing. The master says he doesn't care about the crystal and wants to know his strength, and the boy says he's a beast king, 1 star. Shocked, the man questions how he was a 2-star general and leveled up to beast king in just 2 months. Lin Yuan whispers that it's a secret, and that he can soak up radiation from low-rank crystals. At that moment, the girl rushes over to Lin Yuan, worried, asking if he's okay, and he replies that he is. She thanks him, saying she would have been toast without him, and the boy thinks she's just scared and losing her cool. The master explains that it's totally normal for her to be freaked out since it's her first time, and the girl says she'll get better. So, the 2 young people look at each other and smile after their quick chat. With a thoughtful gaze, the professor watches the duo and thinks this boy is anything but ordinary. Later during sunset, the train speeds along its journey. Inside the room, Zhao checks out the students and thinks the young man is a genius for absorbing radiation. He shows a badge and says he's stored the loot there and will drop the cash later. He explains that Beast Kings ask for copper badges with 10 cubic meters for 1 million. If the young man stays in the top 10 of the hidden ranking, he'll score a dorm room and more. The girl then calls the professor while rubbing her sleepy eyes after the long trip. She asks about individual dorms, and the man says there are free cultivation rooms. Relieved, the boy thinks about the cultivation room to avoid being exposed, and the master says that 5 million guarantees a room just for him. Shocked, Lin Yuan shouts that 5 million is highway robbery, but the girl thinks that just 5 million is a steal. Then the girl shows determination, and our boy wonders how loaded his friend might be. Late into the night, they roll up to the dormitory of Modu University. The boy thinks that before hitting the top 10, he should chill in the dorm, and luckily, his friend is also there. Then he approaches the door of his new room. Upon entering, a boy greets him, introducing himself as Zhao Ming, his new roommate. Excited, he says he's a freshman of this generation and his beast soul is an 8-winged serpent. Lin Yuan introduces himself, and another student pops up, knowing he used a rank E soul to get in. The chubby guy munching snacks says he doesn't know him, but saw his profile and thinks he's super impressive. Surprised, the protagonist asks where he saw it and if anyone can check it out. Wang Jinzhe says he has his ways and knows everything in the academy while Zhao Ming backs him up. He says he can spill whatever he wants to know, but the info isn't free. The protagonist then asks if the dude has the hidden dragon ranking list and thinks he's an info dealer. Wang Jinzhe says it's the first day and the ranking hasn't dropped yet, but he can hook him up with a list of freshmen with potential, and Lin Yuan asks for the price. Since they're classmates, he offers a 20% discount for 4,000, and Lin Yuan wonders how the other dude got that. Sitting at his desk, the boy then looks at the computer screen. A paper shows a list of names with awakened beast souls and their combat estimates as beast kings. The young man realizes that Modu University has a ton of specialists, and freshmen are already at that level. Suddenly, he feels that the last roommate has finally arrived at their dorm. As the door swings open, the other two buddies welcome the new student who just walked in. The newcomer introduces himself as Song Lan and asks them to look out for him in the future, and Lin Yuan thinks he seems fierce. The guys are shocked, and Wang Jinzhe shouts that Song Lan is the top dog this year from Modu City, leaving Zhao Ming feeling honored. Our boy remembers that Song Lan has a glass butterfly soul and his talent is rank SSS. The chubby guy offers a discount for Song Lan, and Zhao Ming calls everyone to grab a bite together. With a smile, Lin Yuan agrees with the plan and decides to roll with them to celebrate. He thinks about how his buddies are no joke, being a beast general and a beast king. Walking at night, one of them says that getting into Modu was a dream, and another jokes about who's paying the bill. Ahead, the group of boys spots two girls walking alone down the lit street. One of the crew catches everyone's attention. The informant spills the tea, saying one's Shu Qing Chu and her soul is an ice silkworm of rank S. The one on the right? That's Su Mu Shui, and her beast soul is a nine-tailed snow fox of rank S. Zhao Ming's mind is blown, asking how he knows all this, and the other dude says it's just the power of info. The girl in the pink dress waves at Lin Yuan, saying it's been ages since they last hung out. He's all, "We were just together this afternoon," and she introduces her roommate, Shu Qing Chu. The informant's jaw drops, wondering how they know each other, totally confused about why he's out of the loop. Our boy asks if Wang Jinzi didn't know, and he's all defensive while Lin Yuan introduces his crew. Su Mu Shui asks if they're grabbing dinner together, but Lin Yuan's like, "Nah, I've got plans with my friends." But the informant's curious about how Lin Yuan knows Su Mu Shui, hinting they seem pretty close. Lin Yuan jokes, asking if the other dude's clueless and offers to sell the info at a discount. While cracking up, the protagonist thinks school life is looking pretty lit and fun. 2 hours later, the young man's meditating, but he can't chill because there are some serious powerhouses around. His beast soul pops up, saying the place is packed with energy, perfect for leveling up. Our boy thinks this is basically a free training room for noobs, while the paid ones are even better. The beast soul mentions the lower crystals are all used up, so the young man decides to test out an advanced one. After using it, he gains 1,000 evolution points and grumbles that it feels just like the lower one. The creature reassures him it's all good since he's got spiritual pills, and Lin Yuan grabs one. As he downs it, a bright light bursts from his chest as he soaks up its power. The system congratulates him for devouring the pill and snagging a talent point, making him wonder if it's a hidden perk. The little dragon explains that talent boosts absorption speed, and the pill upped his capacity by 5%. With his beast soul, he can chow down on all the pills he wants, not just one a month, but they cost 50,000 each. The next day, the sun's shining bright over the university building. Our boy wonders where everyone's off to so early, and Wang Jinzhe says they're probably in the cultivation room. The protagonist thinks he's not the only one grinding to get stronger at the university, so he decides to hustle over to the Beast Soul Palace to snag more low-grade crystals. Suddenly, his phone buzzes, and a familiar voice asks if he's up and ready to get some cash. Outside, the professor drops the news that the Horde cores sold, and his cut is 2,200,000. Plus, he swapped 1 million for 10,000 low-grade crystals and lent the rest on a badge. With a grin, the young man asked the professor to trade 1,200,000 for beast spiritual pills, leaving the master shook. He assures the master he's got this, and the professor mentions the hidden dragon ranking is dropping soon. The man says if the boy stays in the top 10, he'll get to represent Modu Academy in the freshman competition. Determined, the young man thinks his goal isn't just the top 10, but to snag that #1 spot overall. Sometime later, he's back to meditating, and the system congratulates him for absorbing radiation and racking up 1,000 evolution points in 10 minutes. He wonders if it's thanks to the 5 pills, and his soul tells him to chill for the next batch from the professor to find out. Then the boy decides to keep absorbing crystals to boost his combat skills. Days fly by, and he's grinding hard, soaking up energy from the crystals non-stop. A few days later, the protagonist strolls back to the dorm with a bag in hand. As he walks in, he spots his 3 buddies and wonders what's got everyone gathered. A friend reminds him today's the freshman competition, and he's shocked because he totally spaced on it. The informant says there are monsters going all out for the top 10 of the Hidden Dragon ranking. Zhao Ming claims he's a 9-star beast general and would be stoked to land in the top 100. But Song Lan should do great. He drops the bomb that he's a beast king, but his soul's more of a support type, so he's not super confident. Our boy realizes this year's competition is going to be super intense and a total grind, so he figures he needs to level up his game to stand out from the other students at the academy. At the competition venue, the students are buzzing that director Wang Ting is going to give a speech in person. Out of nowhere, a hand lands on the protagonist's shoulder, totally catching him off guard in the crowd. It's Professor Zhao, and the young man asks why he's here, and the master says professors get to join the fun too. He wonders if they're roommates, and Wang Jinzi greets him with mad respect. With a grin, the protagonist introduces Wang Jinzi to the master, saying he's a whiz at data collection. The professor chuckles and says, like father, like son, with a smirk. Wang Jinzi thanks him for the shout-out, and Lin Yuan is shocked, asking if they knew each other before this. The master says the colleague's dad is a big deal, and they'll find out later, then waves goodbye. Zhao Ming asks who the professor is, and the informant spills that he's Zhao Shan, a soul master of Lord rank. With a round of applause, everyone sees that director Wang Ting has finally rolled up to the event. Shook, our boy wonders if Wang Ting is actually his dad and can't wrap his head around it. On stage, the director gives a shout out to all the professors and students, saying they're the academy's hope. He announces that the Hidden Dragon ranking is open to freshmen, and the competition is about to kick off with rewards. The protagonist thinks fate is in his hands and talent isn't everything. You gotta fight for it. At that moment, the director says the strong will battle, and Modu Academy has a high loss rate, but everyone chose to be there. He insists no one there is a coward and asks if everyone's got the guts to fight. With mad hype, the students shout yes, showing they're ready to compete hard. Soon after, the Hidden Dragon ranking drops for all the freshmen at Modu Academy. On the screen, Wu Xuangu is in first place, Song Lan is in 10th, and Lin Yuan realizes the predictions were spot on. Anxiously, the protagonist scans the long list for his name, wondering what his ranking will be. He finally spots his name at number 312 with his black lizard soul and thinks that's kinda low. Students are piling up at the academy, and the place is buzzing with noise from all the people. The protagonist checks out a building and thinks Modu is packed with geniuses, and his rank is still weak. He wonders how the Hidden Dragon ranking rules even work. Suddenly, his beast soul pops up all hyped and says it knows the rules, like you can challenge only 20 ranks above once a day. The creature adds there's an advanced challenge weekly with a 100 rank difference, and no drugs or weapons allowed. It figures reaching the top will take 16 days, but the advanced challenge could speed things up. Other students are chatting about Wu Xuangu being first, and if he can hold on to that spot. Lin Yuan sees the fierce competition for the ranking and decides he needs to grind harder on his cultivation now. A classmate thinks Lin Yuan is acting weird for being chill, while the chubby one says he tried to buy his info, but Lin Yuan was not having it. The young man is grinning, saying he'll negotiate the price of his info when he finally hits the top of the ranking. As he steps away from the crowd, he mentions his goal is the top, and his combat skills are no joke. His beast soul shows off the 24 pills Zhao Shan brought and asks if he's gonna pop them all. With a smile, the young man holds the pills and decides to test them in batches first to see what happens. He then tosses 10 pills in his mouth to kick off the absorption process. Suddenly, a powerful energy wraps around him, and he feels the intense rush of absorbing them. The system congratulates him for munching on the spiritual pills and gaining 1 talent point for each. After fully absorbing them, he racked up 10 talent points and notices his absorption speed is way better now. Now the young man wants to see if his speed for absorbing the lower crystals has also leveled up with this new power. Sitting down, he starts absorbing energy from the lower crystals with laser focus and fresh strength. 7 minutes later, his soul cheers him on for absorbing radiation and quickly scoring 1,000 evolution points. The little dragon realizes that 7 minutes is way quicker than the previous 10, and our boy knows he nailed his guess. Out of nowhere, the young man's phone buzzes and a voice drops the news that in 10 minutes, number 1 and number 3 are about to throw down in the arena. Pumped, Lin Yuan wonders if number 1 and number 3 are really gonna fight and decides he's definitely watching this match. Rolling up to arena number 3 at Modu Academy, the crowd is already buzzing with hype for the showdown. As soon as Professor Zhao steps in, he calls him over, and the protagonist rushes to chat with his master. Next to him is an older dude who looks like he knows Professor Zhao pretty well. The guy cracks a joke that Zhao treats the young man like a rare Pokemon and should just tie him up, and the master gives him a serious side-eye. Then the professor introduces Meng Chang'an, another teacher at the academy, and the protagonist gives him a nod. Meng says that Lao Zhao has been hyping up the young man and invites him to be his student, but Zhao rolls his eyes. Then Meng asks Zhao who he thinks will take the win between Wang Jinhu and Wu Xuangu, and the master dodges the question. Professor Meng then turns to the protagonist for his take, and the young man admits he doesn't know the fighters either. Suddenly, a shout rings out announcing that the competitors have entered, and a strong red-haired dude struts into the arena with mad energy. This is Wang Jinhu, number 3 at Modu Academy, and he's staring down his opponent like it's game time. Next up, his opponent rolls in surrounded by a green aura, ready to throw down. His name is Wu Xuangu, the number 1 beast, entering with a confident smirk that says he means business. The narrator announces that Wang Jinhu has thrown down the gauntlet, and the battle kicks off with the crowd going wild. Number 1 asks if he thinks he's weak for challenging him first in the arena. Wang Jinhu confidently declares that the top spot in the Hidden Dragon ranking is his and his alone. With a grin, Wu Xuangu calls him cocky and says he's about to teach him a lesson. Then he shouts Beast Soul Fusion and transforms into a giant creature that looks like a centipede on steroids. Shocked, our boy realizes it's a rank SSS Beast Soul, the Golden Centipede, and the pressure is straight up royal. Number 3 smirks and says that Modu Academy finally has a worthy opponent in the ring. Then he also shouts Beast Soul Fusion and transforms into a powerful fiery creature that looks ready to roast marshmallows. From the stands, the protagonist watches closely as the two competitors flex their new forms in the arena. He wonders if Wang Jinhu is also a Beast King and who's going to come out on top in this epic showdown. In the arena, the two transformed fighters square off while the professors watch the epic battle unfold. Surprised, Professor Meng comments that the freshmen are packing some serious heat, and Zhao agrees they're total monsters. Suddenly, Wang Jinhu in his tiger form gathers a massive amount of energy in his mouth. With a roar, he unleashes a huge fire blast toward Wu Xuangu, who's just chilling, waiting for the attack. Incredibly, the fire splits and goes around the centipede like it's dodging traffic. Wu Xuangu then mockingly asks if that's all Wang Jinhu's got in his arsenal. Furious, Wang Jinhu snaps back that he should try to take him down before running his mouth. With that, the tiger charges in and lands a brutal strike with his sharp claws. The hit lands hard and green liquid splatters everywhere. The protagonist thinks Wang Jinhu's beast soul is strong and fast, but Wu Xuangu might just dodge it. The masters notice that number 3 is playing it smart, testing the waters with attacks to catch his opponent off guard. Then the professor asks the other if he feels the pressure to climb to the top of the ranking and outshine them. Zhao reflects that the boy's aiming for the top, but with a beast soul of grade E, that's a wild dream. Lin Yuan then pipes up that it's a trap, and the professors are shook as he explains that Wu Xuangu set it up. Shocked, Professor Zhao leans in and asks how the young man figured out it was all a trap. In the arena, Wang Jinhu keeps launching fierce attacks against the centipede, which seems to be taking the hits like a champ. With shining eyes, the tiger thinks he just needs one final blow to seal the deal. Suddenly, Wang Jinhu is stunned when something unexpected happens in the middle of his rapid-fire attacks. The centipede coils around the tiger's body and squeezes tight, showing off the success of its sneaky strategy. Trapped by the centipede, the tiger roars like a beast on a mission, trying to break free with all his might. But the creature just tightens its grip, making the tiger feel pain that's no joke. Next, the insect blasts out a wave of green energy, aiming straight for the tiger. The green energy smacks Wang Jinhu right in the face while he's still stuck, and he takes some serious damage. Professor Zhao chimes in, confirming the protagonist was spot on, asking how he figured out Wu Xuangu's trap. He explains that showing weakness is a classic move for traps, and Wu Xuangu is no joke, listing others who are top tier. Surprised, Professor Meng admits he didn't see that coming from the young dude, and they might overlook stuff, but Lin Yuan's got the eyes. The protagonist throws shade at Meng Laogui, saying his judgment is weak, and the master fires back, asking how he dares to roast him. Professor Zhao says he missed it, but his student caught it, and Meng nods, acknowledging the kid's got some serious skills. Irritated, the tiger Wang Jinhu grumbles, vowing not to go down without a fight. With a blast of fiery power, the tiger gives it everything he's got to break free from the centipede's grip. Finally, he breaks loose, and the centipede backs off while the tiger quickly regains his footing. Free at last, he leaps into the air, ready to unleash a new attack on Wu Xuangu in the arena. Then he lands a massive hit, smashing the centipede into the ground with a thud that echoes. The crowd gasps, and someone yells that Wu Xuangu is about to lose, while another shouts props to the tiger's fierce moves. Professor Meng turns to Lin Yuan, asking if he really thinks Wu Xuangu is going to lose this fight. Calmly, the protagonist says nah, he's watching the battle unfold like it's a movie. He grins, confidently stating that it's actually Wang Jinhu who's going to bite the dust. Professor Zhao asks how he knows that Wang Jinhu is going to lose when he's not even in the lead. Our boy smirks, saying the two couldn't have lost that, so it's got to be a test for him. The other professor admits they can't hide anything, and Lin Yuan explains that the poison will kick in on the tiger soon. In the arena, number 3 is panting hard, looking super tired as the poison starts to take over. The centipede tells him to throw in the towel and detox in the infirmary, or it won't take responsibility for what happens next. Furious, the tiger roars that he's not giving up this fight. No way, no how. With his body blazing, the tiger charges at the centipede for one last epic attack. Then she calls him an arrogant fool for still fighting while he's practically a walking poison factory. Suddenly, the giant insect fires one of its sharp stingers, hitting the tiger right in midair. With the impact, he crashes down to the arena floor, already defeated. Our boy watches as Wang Jinhu falls for the trap, and Wu Xuangu is about to face even tougher challenges. With his hand raised, the judge declares Wu Xuangu the winner after that final blow in the arena. Then Professor Zhao sighs, saying the fight could have been way more exciting if Wang Jinhu hadn't been poisoned. While Professor Meng praises the young man, he reflects on how the kid's talent and perception are next level. Master Zhao asks if the young man knows why he called him, and he replies it was to check out the newcomers. With a serious tone, the professor tells him to understand his position and the strength of his rivals to level up. With a smile, our boy thanks the master, saying he totally got the important lesson. An hour later, in the training room, he figures out that Wu Xuangu is a 4-star Beast King, and Wang Linhu is a solid 3-star. He notes that Wang Linhu plays with flames while Wu Xuangu has that toxic mist, and they both deserve to be in the top 3, and he thinks Wu Xuangu might have more tricks up his sleeve, and Yuan asks about his chances against them. Lin Yuan calculates a 37% chance, and Yuan says the system can totally balance that out. He decides to grind harder for the competition, and Yuan reminds him about those millions of evolution points. Then the protagonist says it's time to keep practicing, and the little dragon eagerly agrees with the plan. 7 days later, we see a chill spot with trees. In the training room, the young man meditates, focused, while Yuan floats beside him, keeping an eye on everything. With a sigh, the boy seems to wrap up his training, feeling totally refreshed in the vibe. Yuan is shocked by the pile of evolution points, and the screen shows the status of the giant black lizard. Our main dude spills the tea about saving points since he became a Beast King, and guess what? He's racked up over 3 million. He's hyped about this pill being super powerful, and Yuan's all curious, asking how he's gonna spend those 3 million points. So, our guy decides to drop 200,000 on scales, another 200,000 on claws, and yet another 200,000 on the reactor. Fast forward half an hour, and Yuan's giving him props for hitting the peak of 2-star Beast King, and he's feeling pretty good about it. Lin Yuan's ready to bounce, and Yuan's joking that he's been training for 7 days straight with barely any sleep, calling him a monster. When he rolls up to the dorm, the chubby boy's all surprised, asking why he's back so soon. Confused, our dude wonders why he can't just chill in his own dorm now. His buddy says he trains way too much, and then Lin Yuan's all, "Where's Songlan and Zhao Ming?" The chubby one explains that Zhao got hurt, and Songlan's stepping in to fight for him, plus he came to grab some clothes. Lin Yuan's curious about what went down and why Song's gotta fight, asking if there's some beef. His buddy says Zhao Ming wouldn't start anything, blaming the list hunters instead, and our boy's mind is blown. He learns that these guys are a new crew manipulating the rankings to cash in on the weaker ones. Shocked, he's thinking, what the heck are these list hunters? The chubby one explains they're all about competing for the top, but they let weak members lose to keep their spots. Plus, to stay in the game, members gotta pay weekly fees, and those wanting to climb higher gotta cough up even more. He wonders if someone weak in the rankings wouldn't just get knocked down and lose what they don't even own. But the chubby one says they protect the payers and go after anyone who challenges, and Zhao Ming took a shot at them and got hurt. Our boy's like, classic Zhao Ming, and asks if the school doesn't care about this mess. He's realizing the university is way bigger and meaner than he thought, and honestly, he's kinda into it. He asks who's running this organization, cause to pull off something like this, you gotta be strong. Then the chubby boy drops the bomb that the founder of the list hunters is Wu Xuangu. Our dude's shocked and asks if Wu Xuangu isn't at the top of the hidden dragon list right now. The other boy explains that he's not leading anymore, and there are tons of talented freshmen this year. He suggests checking the current list on his phone to get the full scoop. The list shows Chu Tianyi in first, Shen Chang in second, and Wu Xuangu chilling in third. His friend spills that Wu started the hunters when the list dropped, bringing in strong allies. He gave out perks, and a third of the freshmen jumped on board, but Wang Linhu and Chu Tianyi were not interested. Our boy thinks those two are already ranked high but can't remember Chu Tianyi's original spot. Then the chubby one says Chu Tianyi shot up the ranks fast, and a bunch of hunters became his fans, which ticked Wu Xuangu off. Plus, there's not much difference in strength, but Chu Tianyi's beast can fly, and the poison didn't even touch him. His friend says he'll show the fight video later, but needs to check on Zhao Ming, and our dude decides to tag along. In the school infirmary, Zhao's in bed and greets our boy who came to see him. Our dude asks how he's feeling, and Zhao's all, "I'm good now." Irritated, Zhao says he wouldn't be hurt if it weren't for those guys, but Zhao blames his own skills. Switching gears, he asks if Song Lan's fight against that dude is really happening tonight. The chubby one confirms, saying the fight's at night in ring number 7, just like they planned. Zhao's mad at himself for dragging Song Lan into this, and his buddy tells him to chill and not move too much. Then our boy asks if the guy Song Lan's facing is the same one who hurt him before. As night falls, the scene shifts to a starry sky with the university buildings in the dark. In ring 7, the chubby one explains that the opponent Yuan Lixan is a brute who didn't even use his full strength. Our boy realizes the chubby one doesn't care about the ranking and asks him about it, and he explains he's focused on other stuff. He says he doesn't take handouts and gathers intel himself to be the biggest dealer in the city. And he reveals he's got a scary older brother and came to the university to keep things low-key and help him out. The protagonist is totally tripped out by the image of a younger bro but a dad who's just as tough as the older bro in his head. He keeps thinking, what kind of brother just lets the other one handle this alone, right? Then, the buddy chimes in, saying the chat's done because the brawl is about to kick off. Yuan Lixin, grinning, asks if Song Lan is really going to defend that loser. With a serious vibe, he locks eyes with the opponent, warning him that he's crossed the line now. Yuan Lixin throws shade, saying he wrecked his roommate and finds it sad that he needs backup. Song Lan wonders if the hunters on the list have zero morals, and the purple dude just laughs at him. With a sneer, he says Song Lan is as useless as Zhao Ming and worth about the same. Then Song Lan activates his Beast Soul fusion and a massive blue butterfly pops up, catching the opponent off guard. With his eyes wide, the guy is totally shook by the transformation. He asks if that's really Song Lan's true beast soul floating in the air, and he laughs at the cute butterfly, saying he's so scared he can't help but cackle. With a sadistic grin, he says those shiny wings are just begging to be ripped apart. Then Yuan Lixan yells Beast Soul Fusion too and starts his own epic transformation. He turns into a giant four-armed gorilla with dark fur and fiery red eyes. The blue butterfly faces off against the giant red gorilla in the arena, both ready to throw down. In the crowd, some are saying Song Lan's soul is different and has zero combat power. The worried buddy asks who the protagonist thinks will win since Yuan Lixan is strong and could be top 10 material. Lin Yuan shrugs, saying it's hard to tell, but that giant monkey has a serious edge in this fight. Then Song Lan's butterfly shouts speed and dodges the gorilla's hand trying to grab it. Yuan Lixan misses completely, looking shocked. Next, the butterfly gets ready and shouts attack, gearing up for its next move against the opponent. It lands a solid hit on the gorilla, making it scream in pain in the arena. The blue-winged creature keeps going, making the giant ape feel every single hit. Watching the fight, Lin Yuan notices the insect's power boost while his friend warns that underestimating this talent is a big mistake. Right after, the giant monkey screams his rival's name with pure rage. Furious, the big guy charges at the butterfly, yelling that it's dead and can't escape. Agile as ever, the winged creature moves, leaving a trail of blue light in the air to dodge the attack. As a result, the brute gets hit again by the quick strikes, roaring in pain. Then the chubby one wonders if the opponent has lost it while our boy explains the tactic to trap. The fight's in the ring limit space, making it tough for the winged creature and stressing its friend out. With a powerful aura, the gorilla claims the insect's boost is no big deal, daring it to run. With a wild scream, the fighter leaps to attack the blue butterfly, which is just chilling in the air. At that moment, the winged creature simply says, "Decline," making its eyes glow bright. Suddenly, the gorilla gets wrapped in a strange blue aura, starting to float in the arena. Freaked out, the opponent realizes he's moving way slower than usual. The butterfly then says the enemy has failed to pin her down like he thought. Next, Song Lan's beastly form declares that the opponent has already lost, shining bright. But the giant pulls out a weapon on his arm, saying his rival is still trash. Immediately, the gorilla attacks with his new weapon, unleashing a wave of red energy. Surprised, the blue creature recognizes that as a divine weapon of the beast, which is super powerful. Then, with the weapon, the beast man shouts, "Fire!" launching a barrage of red projectiles at his target. The butterfly gets completely swarmed by the red shots from the furious gorilla's divine weapon. Shattered, the blue-winged creature plummets to the ground while the aggressor watches, grinning. With a wicked smile, the massive simian claims it's his turn to mess with that idiot. Next, the big guy swings his red blade to smash the fallen butterfly on the ground. Pleased with the hit, Yuan Lixan shows off an evil grin while eyeing his downed rival. The beast man mocks the creature on the ground, knowing full well she can still fly. Showing off his divine weapon, he brags that he prepped that gear just for this fight. With fury, the gorilla starts stomping on the fallen winged form, calling her trash again. With a sadistic grin, the victor laughs loudly, totally relishing the moment while keeping up the assault. In the crowd, Lin Yuan's buddy gets annoyed and wonders why the referee hasn't dropped the fight results yet. Wounded, the insect hears the opponent bragging about having no strength and already winning, telling him to remember this lesson. Finally, the referee shows up, announcing that Song Lan has lost and the victor gets to strut into the dragon ranking. Yuan Lixan goes back to normal and mocks his rival, saying he should go visit his useless friend in the infirmary now. Out of nowhere, Wang Linhu steps in, staring down the victor with a serious and irritated look. Wang Linhu then calls him out, saying the hunters on the list are acting all kinds of shady. With a smirk, the victor asks what Wang Linhu's deal is, suggesting he should take a swing at Wu Xuangu. Irritated, Wang Linhu threatens to rip the guy's mouth off if he talks again. Yuan Lixan laughs, asking if he's really being threatened, whining that those at the top can't challenge those below. Wang Linhu gets furious, facing the provocateur, who just keeps mocking his anger with a grin. In the audience, the protagonist buddy is watching the whole scene unfold. Then the friend turns around in shock, calling Lin Yuan's name as he slowly walks toward the ring. The protagonist steps into the arena, saying that even if he's inferior, he's challenging Yuan Lixan. With a look of disdain, the victor stares at the young man, arrogantly asking who he thinks he is. The newcomer calmly replies that he's Lin Yuan, Song Lan's roommate, staring him down. Next, Lin Yuan says he's 312 on the list, challenging the newly ranked one for the next time. Laughing non-stop, the brute asks if the young man is looking for trouble, saying he doesn't even qualify to challenge him. The protagonist smiles, agreeing he can't now, but in 12 days, he'll be ready for the fight. Surprised, the victor thinks that with his current ranking, the challenger would need to win extreme challenges every day for 12 days. Then Yuan Lixan, with a confident grin, says he'll wait the 12 days, threatening the boy if he fails. Lin Yuan simply tells him to wait and see while watching the opponent strut away from the arena. Quickly, the protagonist rushes to his friend Song Lan, who's being supported by the chubby buddy on the ground. The injured boy apologizes to Lin Yuan, feeling bad about losing the last battle. With a serious look, our boy tells him to recover first because he'll handle the rest of the situation solo. Wang Linhu steps up to thank the protagonist for having his friends back, saying he was already fed up with the hunters. He also mentions that the guy has some serious guts to challenge the brute like that. Our boy replies that if he didn't have guts, he wouldn't have come to university and suggests they hit the infirmary. So, the two friends help Songlan out of the arena while Wang Linhu watches from a distance. With a slight smile, Wang Linhu thinks that Lin Yuan is a solid dude to have as a friend. All bandaged up, Songlan asks if he was serious in the ring earlier. Then the chubby classmate wonders what kind of strength the protagonist has now for such a challenge. Lin Yuan confidently replies to just wait and see what's going to happen in 12 days. The next day, in ring number 57, the protagonist's friend waits for the fight to kick off. An opponent named Chen Hai shows up, claiming the boy is bold for declaring war and jumping 50 spots. Without wasting time, the protagonist shouts, activating his beast soul fusion and unleashing a strong blue aura. Meanwhile, the adversary grins, saying the young man is impatient and performs his own beast soul fusion. Quickly, Chen Hai transforms into a massive green sea serpent to face off against the protagonist in the arena. Then the two beasts lock eyes in the ring, ready to throw down. The sea serpent warns the boy to be careful, charging in fast to attack the blue creature. With agility, Chen Hai's creature wraps around the protagonist's monster, starting to squeeze. The serpent then asks with a grin if the challenger was just waiting to be strangled. Even trapped, the blue monster calmly says that was a solid move from its opponent. Unfortunately for the enemy, Lin Yuan's beast says he's a bit weak, making its eyes glow red. Then the blue monster unleashes a massive explosion of energy that sends the sea serpent flying. The creature on the ground admits the king-grade power of the monster, realizing it's no match for him. Then Lin Yuan's beast says it's time to wrap things up while Chen Hai's creature freaks out. Panicking, the sea serpent yells that it gives up the fight, getting swallowed by a bright light. The match ends with Lin Yuan snagging the win, leaving the crowd shook by the lightning-fast finish thanks to his power. As he strolls out of the arena, a classmate finds him, saying he hid well being a beast king, and the young man asks if he wants some intel. The chubby friend passes, saying he's got a genius idea to cash in by making Lin Yuan admit he needs it. With a sly grin, the buddy explains that the story of the battle has spread, and he's going to place a bet on the hero's invincibility for 12 days. When asked about his current strength, the protagonist whispers that he's at the peak of the 2-star beast king. In shock, the chubby friend exclaims that this makes him stronger than Song Lan, and that he was faking it the whole time. When asked how confident he is about winning the 12 fights, the boy responds 95% or more. To split the profit 60-40, the friend then proposes to bet 10 million on the hero's victory. With a clever smile, the buddy says, of course not, since the protagonist is the key for them to cash in. The scene shifts, and we see Yuan Lixan munching away like he's in a food contest. Someone comments that things have been pretty rough for him lately. Wu Xuangu rolls up to ask what he's doing there, mentioning he heard about a new challenger after the fight. With a scoff, the winner claims the boy is just a clown outside the top 300 and isn't a big deal. Then Wu Xuangu corrects him, saying that info is old news because the boy is ranked 262 and is a beast king. Surprised, Yuan Lixan takes in the news that his future opponent is actually a big deal. The colleague then clarifies he didn't mean anything by it and just came to drop a warning about the situation. With a confident smirk, the brute says he'll handle the young man without letting him stir up trouble for the organization. Wu Xuangu waves goodbye, saying he hopes for good news while the other watches him leave with a serious face. With gleaming eyes, the beast man crushes a banana, stating he'll see just how tough that boy really is. At noon on the third day, in arena number 53, tension hangs in the air for the upcoming fight. The protagonist sizes up the opponent Qi Ying, ranked 242, and his speedy moon leopard beast soul. Our boy then spots his friend in the stands, who looks super confident for today's showdown. The challenger thinks his friend has total faith in him now, even more hyped than he is at the moment. After yesterday, the buddy seems to have gotten even more pumped about the possibilities for them. The chubby friend asks if Lin Yuan still wants him to pretend at the start, since the bets change in real time. With a serious face, the young man questions what his companion means by him playing a fake match now. The friend denies it, saying it's not a fake game, but a business strategy to rake in more cash. Lin Yuan then agrees to roll with it, while the friend replies they're counting on him to make bank together. Reflecting that his strength has been exposed and that's why so many people showed up, the opponent steps up to call him out. In the ring, the adversary comments that it's a bummer for him to be challenged by a beast king while facing the protagonist. Even with slim chances, Qi Ying shouts that he won't back down easily, activating his beast soul fusion. Thus, the opponent transforms into a massive white leopard with black spots while a yellow aura surrounds him. Lin Yuan also performs his soul fusion, appearing as the spiky blue monster ready to face the feline beast. The white leopard then senses the powerful King of Beast aura coming from the blue monster in the arena. However, being a 9-star beast general, he thinks he can still throw down, gearing up for battle. Suddenly, the feline monster unleashes a powerful claw attack against our boy, who tries to dodge the strike. The beast roars with great force, making the opponent feel the impact of the direct blow and showing off its power. Surprised, the white leopard can't believe he actually managed to hurt the monster, thinking he had the speed advantage. As his friend had said, Lin Yuan's monster looms over the leopard to show who's boss. The blue creature warns that it's going to play with the feline, its claws wrapped in fiery energy. Meanwhile, the opposing beast, with its greenish aura, quickly charges at the blue monster on the ground. With lightning speed, the white leopard lunges, claws out, smashing into the opponent's arm with a serious wallop. The feline wonders if the King of Beasts is just a title and not much else when it comes to throwing down. In the stands, one spectator is all, how can the main character even fight if he can't handle a beast general? But the chubby friend is grinning, thinking that the more they doubt, the more cash they'll rake in. Back in the arena, the blue monster gets hit again by the leopard, sent flying back like a ragdoll from the impact. The feline watches, thinking if it keeps this up, maybe a big win is in the cards. So, the beast believes it can take down a king of beasts, even if the power level is way higher. But then, bam! The feline gets smacked in the face by a brutal hit. It's launched against the arena wall with a thud that echoes. With that hit, Qi Ying turns back into human form, crashing down on the ring floor, totally defeated. The crowd is shook by this sudden twist, and the challenger's easy win now. The blue monster struts over to the fallen opponent, flexing its dominance in the arena. Its scary face with those glowing red eyes is enough to make anyone think twice about stepping up. Qi Ying, lying there, thinks this was just a fluke, not the real strength of the opponent. But in that moment of pure menace, he realizes there's no way to dodge the attack. A spectator yells that the gap between a king of beasts and a general is way too big to bridge. But the chubby friend is still smiling because his money-making plan is totally on track. He gives Lin Yuan a high five for his performance, and Lin Yuan says he's not too shabby in the arena after all. Then the friend jokes that it's awesome because they say the protagonist is a blind cat that caught a dead rat, and a lot of people doubt him. Later that night in the dorm, Lin Yuan thinks about how winning today's duel scored him 2 silver treasure chests and a beast weapon. With a grin, he figures he doesn't even need the beast weapon, just sell it to keep taking down tougher opponents. Fast forward 5 days, and Lin Yuan's ranking skyrocketed from 242 to 142, showing he's leveling up. Recently, he's run into folks with bot rankings who just give up before the fight, blocking his chance for rewards. The friend asks why he's feeling so down when their odds are 1 to 1.5. Lin Yuan wonders if there's another challenge tomorrow, and if his buddy has any intel on the next opponent. The chubby friend pulls out a tablet he prepped ages ago, handing it over with a grin. It says Lei Qingming is number 92 on the Hidden Dragon list, with a super strong Thunder-type beast soul. Our boy comments that he seems pretty tough, while the friend says everyone thinks he's gonna lose this battle. Once he takes down the next opponent, everyone will see his real strength, so the buddy will close the bets before the fight. Seeing this, Lin Yuan thinks he's finally gonna have a solid fight to show off all his skills. Meanwhile, in a high-tech training room, Sumu Shui is focusing her energy. Suddenly, her communicator buzzes, pulling her attention to a new message. A holographic figure pops up, asking if she's not going to catch Lin Yuan's fight against Lei Qingming. The figure then asks her about the true strength of Lin Yuan's opponent. The figure mentions he's number 92 on the Hidden Dragon list and a 1-star Beast King. Thinking hard, the girl realizes the opponent is at the top of the 1-star Beast King level. But the hologram is worried Lin Yuan might get wrecked in the arena. With a confident smile, she insists he's super strong and totally won't lose this battle. Then the holographic figure smirks and asks about her faith in her boyfriend, but the embarrassed girl quickly denies he's her boyfriend, saying it's just a hometown friendship. At this, the holographic figure questions why she's not competing for the Hidden Dragon list. She replies that for her master, the challenge isn't worth it, and she needs a breakthrough first. The hologram says her master is generous because the advanced room is super valuable and has high-level soul crystals. Then, the apparition says goodbye, promising to check in later while the girl thanks her. At 7 in the evening in the competition area of Mo City University, ring number 26 is packed to the brim. The protagonist asks about the crowd and his friend says half are here for the bets, while the other half just want to have a good time. His buddy drops the news that the bets are closing for this epic showdown, and Lin Yuan's all, I got this, no worries. In the arena, a jacked dude is yelling, asking where Lin Yuan is for the big showdown. Meet Lei Qingming, number 92 on the Hidden Dragon list, and yeah, he's a total beast. Our guy strolls in, saying he's right here and totally ready to throw down. The opponent shoots him a death glare, asking if he's the one who dared to challenge him, promising to wipe the floor with him in 12 days, and wonders if that's even possible. With a smirk, the rival says, of course it's possible, but you're seriously overestimating yourself, buddy. Lin Yuan, looking all serious, accepts the challenge like a champ. Then both of them get ready to unleash their epic transformations right in the arena. The two monsters face off with Lin Yuan's blue beast squaring up against the opponent's green creature, both sizing each other up. A spectator whispers that the opponent's pressure is intense, calling him a powerful freshman, while another bets on our hero's defeat. Lei Qingming brags that he's put 5 million on Lin Yuan's loss, hoping to break his winning streak. Our boy's jaw drops, asking if the enemy really just bet 5 million on him losing this fight. The Green Beast mocks him, asking if he wanted him to bet on his victory instead. Meanwhile, Lin Yuan's all chill, saying he just wants to thank the opponent for the big bet. The Green Beast raises an eyebrow, asking why the blue creature would thank him right now. Our boy grins, saying he'll show him soon, charging forward with lightning speed for the attack. Caught off guard by the speed, the opponent thinks his intel was way off, questioning Lin Yuan's soul power. Next, Lei Chingming's beast unleashes a massive electric shock, gearing up for a counterattack. The two creatures clash in a wild explosion of blue and green energy that lights up the whole arena. In the center, our boy dodges the hit while the green beast glares at him, fuming. The enemy thinks his 1-star beast king speed is equal to 2 and could take Lin Yuan down in 5 hits, but the green beast is shook, wondering how the protagonist is moving so fast. With insane speed, the blue monster zips around like a shadow, leaving the opponent totally stunned. Furious, the enemy screams that he's forced to go all out, unleashing a massive blast of yellow energy. With a fierce look, the blue creature warns that today is just not the opponent's lucky day. Then the hero's monster says it's done pretending and is ready to unleash some serious energy. So, our boy fires off a huge blast from his mouth, saying goodbye to the adversary. The yellow energy beam slams into the green beast, who can't escape the hit. Hit hard, Lei Chingming's monster wonders how this went down in the arena. The protagonist watches the defeated enemy hit the ground. Game over. With the battle wrapped up, the blue monster stands tall as it's announced that Lin Yuan has snagged the win. In the crowd, spectators are left speechless, totally shocked by the hero's quick victory. The green beast is sprawled on the ground, clearly wrecked after that hit. A dude in the stands shouts that he dreamed of this moment while another celebrates having bet 200 grand on our hero. A girl in a cap thinks the winner's move totally crushed Lei Chingming, finally getting why Sumu Shui was so confident. The system chimes in, saying he just defeated a king-grade soul beast master, earning a golden treasure chest to open. The golden chest pops open, and the system announces he scored 50,000 points and a weapon. The reward? A king-grade beast weapon called Blue Thunderclaws, which looks super powerful and useful. His little buddy explains that the weapon dishes out a ton of thunder damage when used in battle. Grinning, Lin Yuan thinks this is way better than the red flame claw, while his partner asks what's up. Suddenly, his friend bolts through the arena, calling his name like a maniac. Pumped about the win, the friend runs up to shout about the cash they just scored from the bet. Then the friend praises the winner, saying he's got mad skills and this is a huge win for both of them. Out of nowhere, a stranger appears, clapping and saying he saw the fight and it was a total banger. Then Lin Yuan's buddy asks the newcomer what he means by that. The stranger, grinning, asks how the two roommates of the boy are holding up now. Lin Yuan says it's not something the other should stress about right now. The newcomer jumps in, asking who said it's not his business, warning that he'll be joining them soon. Out of nowhere, the stranger slaps the protagonist's friend, catching him totally off guard. The spiky-haired dude brags that he took down his last opponent way faster than Lin Yuan did. The protagonist's friend rolls his eyes, calling this guy a total bully. With a grin, the stranger says that all this arrogance will make him look dumb when he gets wrecked. Lin Yuan, looking serious, thinks that the other's cockiness will just make his defeat even more epic. 3 days later, the protagonist skyrockets in the rankings from 92 to 32. So, Lin Yuan gets his zen on, soaking up energy while his little buddy watches closely. Finally, he hits the middle of the 3-star king-grade beast level, and his partner asks about the showdown with Yuan Lian. With a smirk, he says he didn't gain much from the last fight, but the loot from the next opponent will be fire. By morning, the university looks epic, showing the spot where all the action is happening. Strolling through campus, the protagonist asks his friend about the new bet and the odds against his rival in the duel. His friend says the odds are 1 to 1.2, and Lin Yuan decides to throw down 6 million on himself. Shocked, the buddy asks if he really put down 6 million, noticing his insane confidence. With a confident grin, the boy says he's been hyped for this day to finally show up. In the infirmary, the standing friend wonders how they ended up there, while another buddy chills on the bed. Lin Yuan's partner hands over a warm meat bun from the 3rd cafeteria, and the boy thanks him, calling him dad. Lin Yuan then asks how Songlan is holding up, and the young man replies that he's not doing great, his injury is pretty rough. Lying on the bed, the injured friend asks how the protagonist got there, and the other offers him breakfast to munch on. Our boy thinks that the last battle didn't just wreck Songlan's body, but also crushed his spirit. A proud dude like him, after such a loss, would totally doubt himself, and the only way to bounce back is through nirvana. So the only way for him to really recover is to walk out of there on his own, owning this whole situation. While munching, the friend says that today Lin Yuan and Yuan Lian are gonna face off, and if all goes well, he'll get his revenge. The 2 injured boys in the infirmary are completely blown away by this sudden news from their pal. Injured in bed, the friend is stunned, asking how the challenger got so strong to not lose for 12 days straight. Songlan, lying down and bandaged, remembers that in his last fight, the enemy pulled some dirty tricks to take him down. With a worried look, he warns that he doubts the opponent used his full strength and the hero should watch out in the fight. The protagonist thanks his friend for the heads up, but firmly states there's no way he's losing this battle now. At noon in arena number 3, the place is packed with fans hyped for the epic showdown. Someone in the stands points and shouts to check out who's there to watch the duel about to kick off. From the stands, we see the challenger striding toward the center of the arena, where the opponent is already waiting. The opponent, with a smug grin, waves mockingly at the hero stepping into the battle ring. At this, the friend comments that even Wu Xuangu is there, and it looks like the hunters of the list are taking this super seriously. With red eyes and a creepy smile, the rival says he can't wait to see how badly the protagonist gets wrecked. The young man locks eyes with his opponent, serious and ready for the challenge ahead. Yuan Lian meets his gaze with a vibe of superiority, showing off an intimidating necklace of fangs. Then the adversary turns to the crowd, saying everyone came to see their fight to find out who's the strongest. With an arrogant grin, the enemy claims he can already say that he's the one who's going to win in the end. He then points at the protagonist in the middle of the arena, acting like he's already got the victory in the bag. Then the rival, with his transformed hand, points at Lin Yuan, swearing he'll see the end for messing with the hunters of the list. In the arena, the opponent is making some seriously weird noises, trying to get under the protagonist's skin with this. With a smug grin plastered on his face, the rival shouts that it was super well said, hyping himself up like he's the main character in a movie. The hero's chubby friend is getting all riled up, itching for a fight, but the other buddy, all wrapped up in bandages, is holding him back, telling him to chill out. Sitting in the stands, the companion explains that there are tons of hunters on the list, and that's why the enemy is just trying to show loyalty to the boss. Out of nowhere, a red-haired kid pops up asking if he can sit with them, and the friend is all surprised, saying he didn't see that coming. The red-haired kid then drops a bomb, saying he bet 10 million on Lin Yuan, and that's why he had to come watch the fight up close. The chubby friend is totally blown away by that amount, asking if he's not scared of the hero losing, thinking this dude must be loaded. The bettor grins, saying thanks to his buddy, he raked in a ton, and this time he's betting on the protagonist, wanting to cash in even more. At this, the informant gives the newcomer a side-eye, thinking how proud he is of his bold words like, "Okay, flex on us." Wu Xuangu is also trying to boost Yuan Lian's morale and rep since the challenger has become the hottest target around. In the stands, the boss is just hoping Lin Yuan isn't too rattled by all the trash talk from the opponent. The red-haired bettor is thinking it'd be hilarious to see the gorilla lose, just to catch Wu Xuangu's reaction. In the center of the arena, the adversary is shouting at the top of his lungs, announcing his beast soul fusion, ready to go full beast mode. He transforms into a giant gorilla, threatening to break every bone of the hero until he's begging for mercy, which is a bit dramatic, don't you think? The enormous beast challenges the protagonist to show what he's got while the hero stands there, totally unfazed. Then the young man gets ready too, and an intense blue aura starts glowing around him for his own transformation. With a super determined look, his eye shines bright, showing he's all in for this epic showdown. Next, the challenger shouts Beast Soul Fusion, and a blinding light surrounds him as he starts to change. He morphs into a powerful blue draconic creature, ready to take on the giant gorilla in front of a hyped-up crowd. The two transformed beasts charge at each other, kicking off the epic clash everyone's been waiting for. The blue draconic creature blocks the giant gorilla's punch, and the impact shakes the whole arena like, whoa. In a quick moment, the beast's fist slams into the dragon's spiked armor, but it barely leaves a scratch. Talk about tough scales. The two colossal beasts are locked in a battle of strength, neither one backing down. It's a total showdown. The gorilla is shocked because his powerful punch, which could knock out a 2-star beast king, didn't even faze the dragon. In a twist, the sharp spikes of the blue creature end up slicing the opponent's fist, which is now bleeding from the hit. Yikes. Realizing he's in trouble, the adversary thinks this is not good at all while the dragon is gearing up for an energy attack. Panicking, the massive gorilla decides he needs to bounce before getting hit by the protagonist's blow. Then the dragon unleashes a yellow energy beam from its mouth, and the giant creature scrambles to dodge it, but it's too late. The enemy tries to shield himself from the glowing attack, but the beam's speed is just too insane for him to escape. With a shocked expression, the gorilla complains about how fast the attack is, realizing he couldn't get away in time. Seizing the moment, the dragon fires a powerful yellow beam, aiming for victory in the arena with everything it's got. Even after getting hit, the gorilla uses his technique, questioning if that's all the blue creature can muster. The rival, with his reinforced fist, struggles to block the intense energy shot from the protagonist, but he's holding on. While the dragon keeps the attack going, the gorilla brags about how he unexpectedly blocked the blow, but it's all talk. The opponent then underestimates the protagonist, calling him naive and his power weak, which is a bold move. Reflecting, he realizes his black-scale fistblade stopped the energy, but not for long, and that's gotta sting. The giant creature keeps resisting the beam, but it's clear his defense is about to crack in this epic showdown. In the stands, the buddy is shocked to see the opponent pushing against Lin Yuan's powerful light in the fight. The blue dragon stays focused, continuing to blast the energy beam at the opponent in the arena, no holding back. Then the energy in the beast's body shines even brighter as it keeps the attack going against the stubborn gorilla. While the dragon fires an even more powerful blue nuclear energy beam at its opponent in the crowded arena, it's game time. It sends the energy beam flying across the battlefield, hitting the giant creature squarely with full force in the fight. Hit by the energy, the gorilla is shook, feeling the insane power of the protagonist's punch at that moment. A massive explosion of blue light happens when the beam finally slams into the rival, totally wrecking the fight. With a face twisted in pain, the beast feels the dragon's attack, looking like it's in deep trouble now. The adversary is taking some serious hits and seems unable to handle the hero's power any longer. So, the gorilla is totally defeated, crashing to the ground of the arena while the blue dragon watches from above. In the stands, the protagonist's friends are left speechless, totally blown away by his epic win. Wu Xuangu is also shook by the result, shouting in disbelief at his buddy's defeat. The bandaged dude wonders when the winner got so strong, and the redhead says he always was. At that moment, the bettor in the stands comments that taking down the Beastman would be a tough task for the protagonist in the arena. Even down, the gorilla admits something, looking like he hasn't fully given up on the fight just yet. The creature stands up to tell the dragon that its strength totally exceeded its expectations in this arena battle. With a serious look, the rival warns that he can now fight seriously against the protagonist, unleashing all his power. So, the gorilla charges at the blue dragon, ready for a new round in the packed arena. The blue monster preps another energy attack with its mouth, and the light feels different this time in the showdown. It fires, but the gorilla dodges, making the beam hit the ground and kick up a ton of dust and debris in the arena. The dragon thinks that with this speed, the rival has at least hit Beast King level of 3 stars, no cap. Then the gorilla pops up right in front of the blue creature, gearing up for a powerful punch against it. With a roar of fury, the adversary tells the protagonist to go to hell, ready for his final attack. The giant beast unleashes a flurry of blows with its claws, and intense red energy bursts from its attacks in the arena. Our boy takes a hit, and the impact feels super strong and painful for him in the fight. So, the rival manages to smack the dragon squarely, and the blow pushes it back with some serious force. Jumping back, the gorilla remembers it has 4 arms, giving it a wild advantage in the fight. The arm of the blue beast is now injured, and red liquid starts flowing, showing the damage from the hit. With a fierce look, the opponent comments on the taste of that red liquid, seeming to enjoy the vibe. The blue creature suffers multiple deep cuts, causing red liquid to gush from its wounded body in the arena. It screams in pain from the cuts as the red liquid pours out, making the fight even more intense. The gorilla then laughs maniacally, saying this is just the beginning of their epic battle. Then the opponent charges again at the blue creature, ready to deliver more blows with full strength. Despite the injuries, the blue dragon's gaze stays firm, determined to keep fighting now. Then the beast's fist slams into the protagonist with a strong impact, sending sparks flying around the arena. More red liquid splatters from the hero's body, and the situation looks pretty critical for him. With the impact of the blows, the blue creature is forced to stagger back a few steps, looking a bit dazed. The gorilla is stunned, asking why the boy is still laughing even while so messed up. Suddenly, the blue dragon reveals its divine weapon, and a new energy starts surging from it. It then shouts that the rival isn't the only one with power while a massive aura surrounds it, catching the enemy off guard. Freaked out, the gorilla realizes the protagonist let him get close on purpose, as it was all just a trap. Meanwhile, the hero's creature concentrates a powerful sphere of bright blue energy to attack the gorilla in the arena. So, the dragon fires the blue energy sphere, which explodes with a massive impact against the opponent in the arena. Imposing, the blue monster stands tall while the blue energy crackles around it, flexing its full power. Then bright blue energy crystals burst forth with intensity from the protagonist's strike. From below, the gorilla stares at the dragon, which is building up an intense and powerful light, ready to unleash it against him. Desperate, the Beastman screams, not realizing the imminent danger of the blue dragon's attack in the arena now. With a determined look, the blue creature declares that it's over, ready to unleash its final energy attack against the rival. The blue energy slams into the gorilla, and he lets out a howl that could wake the neighbors, feeling the full force of that epic showdown. A massive explosion of blue energy lights up the whole arena, making it look like a fireworks show gone wild from the hero's final attack. In the stands, the protagonist's crew exchanges wide-eyed looks, totally shook by how this fight just flipped upside down. On the arena floor, the gorilla is sprawled out, while the blue dragon hovers above him, radiating some serious power vibes. Even down for the count, the Beastman mutters that he's not out of the game yet and refuses to throw in the towel. With a face that looks like it just lost a boxing match, the opponent tries to speak but can barely get the words out. The blue dragon warns him that since he hasn't admitted defeat, the beatdown is about to get real, no mercy. Held tight by the blue creature, the gorilla begs to know what the protagonist really wants from him, sounding desperate. Lin Yuan says he's all about that eye for an eye life, ready to settle the score for what the gorilla did to his friends before. Then the blue dragon charges up another energy blast, mouth glowing, ready to finish this showdown once and for all. The gorilla screams in pure terror, realizing there's no escape from the incoming attack, and it's game over. Boom! The blue energy beam hits him squarely. lighting up the arena again like it's the 4th of July. In the crowd, some think the winner's a total savage, while others argue he's just dishing out what the rival deserves because the hunters are a plague. The dragon asks if the gorilla admits defeat, saying it's his only shot, or he'll lose an arm and the whole competition. Fallen and hurt, the beast man yells that Lin Yuan's a bully for being so ruthless in the arena right now. Lin Yuan fires back, saying he's just mirroring the gorilla's own moves, so who's the real bully here? From the stands, the red-haired buddy watches the dragon and calls out the winner's name with a warning tone, like a concerned parent. With a serious face, Wu Xuangu warns the young man not to push it too far right now, like he's the voice of reason. The red-haired one shoots back, asking what too far even means, reminding everyone that the hunters of the list are total control freaks. With a scoff, the leader of the hunters grunts, showing he's not impressed with the whole situation, like he's above it all. Then the red-haired friend asks how a loser can even talk, which gets Wu Xuangu all riled up, ready to throw down. Irritated, the leader warns Lin Yuan to think twice about his next moves in the arena, like he's giving him a life lesson. Wu Xuangu then asks if the hero wants to make enemies with all the hunters of the list, and the young man looks confused. He glances at the small blue dragon, and the protagonist repeats the question about what misunderstanding they're talking about. The blue creature confirms, reminding everyone that it declared war on that trash a while back, loud and clear. In the stands, the friends are stunned by the protagonist's boldness and his straight-up words in the arena. The red-haired buddy grins, pleased with the response, while the other two look super worried about how this is all going down. Wu Xuangu yells angrily, asking if Lin Yuan even knows what he's saying right now, like he's trying to snap him back to reality. The judge jumps in, questioning the whole discussion and threatening to kick the leader out for messing with the duel. But the referee, who's a beast soul master with some serious power, orders the duel to keep going while the blue dragon watches everything unfold. Our protagonist stares at the fallen gorilla, laughing as he asks if the opponent really thinks he's going to give up now. Then the guy tightens his fist, shouting to Lin Yuan that he's not backing down from this battle, no way. With a roar, the gorilla dares the winner to finish him off if he can, saying he'll never surrender, even if it's lights out. Next, a powerful blue energy slams into the beast man's chest with a hit so strong it could knock the wind out of a rhino. The rival gets blasted away by the blue dragon's nuclear energy beam, which is watching everything like a hawk. Defeated, the opponent morphs back to human form and spits out some red liquid, looking pretty wrecked on the arena floor. Lin Yuan also returns to normal while someone in the stand sighs, realizing he actually won the fight. With a serious look, the protagonist locks eyes with the opponent as the judge starts to announce the final result of the duel. The referee then declares Lin Yuan the big winner, while Wu Xuangu glares from the stands, fuming. Fuming, the leader warns the winner to remember that he'll pay for his actions, like a villain in a superhero movie. Suddenly, a cute creature pops up to announce that by defeating a king beast soul master, he's earned a golden chest. Happy as a kid in a candy store, the protagonist smiles, thinking it's awesome to snag another golden treasure chest as a reward. Meanwhile, in the arena, the hero's two buddies sprint toward him, yelling his name like it's the last round of a video game. One of them shouts that he had no clue the kid had that kind of fire, reminding him to watch out for the leader. The red-haired friend jumps in, saying the enemy is as vengeful as a snake, which makes the hero wonder who's going to step up to fight. With a serious face, the red-haired dude guesses the leader will throw Li Qingnan into the ring against the hero. At this, the white-haired kid raises an eyebrow, asking why Li Qingnan is the pick when the other two are ranked higher. The friend explains that the leader's all about self-preservation and the other guy is just eye candy, leaving the third on the list. Lin Yuan then turns to the chubby one, asking for the 411 on the opponent while the buddy offers to help out. But the red-haired friend jumps in, telling the hero to ask him since he's already faced Li Qingnan before. At this, the blue-shirted guy asks the red-haired one who actually won that fight against the future opponent. But the better suggests checking the list, making the other buddy tell him not to take offense at the roast. With open arms, the comrade admits that, yeah, he totally lost that fight against the beast of an opponent. Then the red-haired one warns that Li Qingnan isn't just strong, he's got a super weird beast soul. Curious, the hero asks what's so strange about the next opponent's beast soul in the arena. The red-haired buddy asks if they've ever heard of plant-type beast souls, which sounds like a weird gardening project. Meanwhile, in the surveillance room, someone comments that the protagonist's match was actually pretty epic. The judge jumps when he sees the director there, asking in shock what he's doing in this neck of the woods. Then the director explains he caught the fight, and Lin Yuan looked seriously impressive in the arena. The judge agrees, and the director mentions he heard Lin Yuan's talent is only grade E. He adjusts his cap, saying he almost thought the data was off because his strength screams S or SS talent. The judge mentions that the director must know about the list hunters who hog the rankings and pressure students. The director nods, saying he knows, but the leader isn't breaking any rules, and his moves fit the university's motto. The referee then chimes in that there's no justice in this world, and it's a harsh place that the young still don't fully get. With a serious look, the director states that the pressure humanity faces is getting crazier and more dangerous. Elsewhere, we see the training center, a massive and modern spot for students to sharpen their skills. When Lin Yuan arrives, he gets a message saying that being in 18th place scored him a 50% discount in the room. He thinks that with this perk, it's no wonder everyone's hustling to climb the ranks and check out the loot. Inside the room, the winner opens the chest, and his little creature goes wild over the 50,000 points and a king's crossbow. Suddenly, a bright and mysterious crystal pops out of the chest, making the protagonist wonder what that new item is. The protagonist is shocked, asking if his friend isn't scared of losing so much cash betting that high on him. Then the friend says if he's betting, he's going all in, declaring that if Lin Yuan loses, he's losing everything too. He warns that the meeting is tomorrow at 7 o'clock and will open the bets, disappearing, while the creature notes he didn't even breathe. Lin Yuan then says to leave it to him, and that tomorrow's hype will be no less than Yuan Lian, for sure. The next night, the chubby friend runs excitedly, with the sound of hurried footsteps echoing like a drumline. Students debate Lin Yuan's chances against the next opponent since he's ranked 4th and has a plant soul, while another gets annoyed with the hunters. One of them says he's rooting for the protagonist and bet 100 yuan on him, and the chubby one thinks that bet is weak sauce. The buddy's hand points out that the betting odds are now at 1.5 for the underdog in this fight. The chubby one runs, thinking that a lot of people don't trust Lin Yuan, and making bank now totally depends on how this goes. Arriving at the spot they agreed on, Lin Yuan waves to his friend and thanks him for hanging tight. The friend then praises the protagonist for grinding until 5:30, even though the duel isn't until 7. He then says he can't take down cultivators like the protagonist, and asks if they can head to the arena now. With a grin, the white-haired boy agrees, but warns that first they need to grab some food since he hasn't had dinner yet. Surprised, the chubby one is totally shook by his friend's chill vibes before the fight and yells, asking what's up with that. Soon, they roll into the cafeteria on the 2nd floor of Mo University, a spot packed with all kinds of food. At the table, the friend is mind-blown to see the protagonist covering the bill and says he put everything on him, then tells him to eat up and get ready to throw down. The protagonist raises an eyebrow, questioning why the director's kid is acting broke. In response, the chubby one breaks it down, saying that cash earned and family cash are worlds apart, and he's trying to show his dad he's got what it takes. Then Lin Yuan chimes in, saying he's still curious about what his friend's beast soul is. The chubby one quickly changes the topic, asking him to chill since the protagonist will find out about his beast soul eventually. Later that night, in Arena Number 1, the stage is set for the epic showdown, and both fighters are buzzing with anticipation. The protagonist scans the crowd, and the friend explains that his last duel was lit, and this one's against the 4th-ranked fighter. Then the friend tells Lin Yuan to go ahead while he hunts down Zhao Ming and Wang Lihu, and they bump fists in a bro moment. The white-haired boy looks a bit deep in thought, staring at the entrance of the battle arena. From the other side, the opponent checks out the protagonist strutting solo in the spotlight of the grand arena. With a cocky grin, Li Qingnan fiddles with his tooth necklace and gives the challenger a look that screams, "You're toast." Lin Yuan shoots back with a fierce look, saying the opponent has messed with the wrong dude this time. As both fighters step into the ring, the announcer declares that the duel is officially on for everyone. Immediately, the crowd goes wild, cheering like it's the Super Bowl for the competitors in the arena. The protagonist yells, "Beast Soul Fusion," and transforms into a massive, powerful blue creature. Li Qingnan smirks, adjusting his glasses with a vibe that says he's got this in the bag. The opponent then calls forth his Beast Soul Fusion, summoning a green plant creature with tendrils that look ready to party. Details of the plant creature's thorny tendrils pop up, showing just how dangerous they are. In a flash, the plant creature lunges with its thorny tendrils, aiming straight for the protagonist. The protagonist's beast form gets surrounded by the opponent's green tendrils in a heartbeat. With a confident grin, the blue creature says, "This will be a piece of cake," and doesn't flinch at the incoming attack. The blue beast then strikes back with its sharp claws, slicing through the tendrils like they're made of butter. With a powerful hit, the tendrils get shredded into pieces, flying everywhere from the impact. The pieces hit the ground, and a shocked voice gasps in disbelief at what just went down. A spectator cheers for Lin Yuan's epic move, but his red-haired friend warns him not to get too hyped since it was just a warm-up from the opponent. The plant creature charges forward with its sharp green tendrils aimed at the protagonist in the arena. The protagonist's blue beast slices through the tendrils and asks if that's really the best the opponent can throw at him. We see a close-up of the thorny tendrils getting sliced by the protagonist's strike, and it's a total flex. On the arena floor, a pile of cut green tendrils builds up, showing off the power of the protagonist's attack. The plant creature claims it almost figured out its opponent's strength after that direct hit. Floating in the air, the enemy shouts that it's time for the protagonist to meet his end as the cut tendrils surround him. Suddenly, the tendrils on the ground start growing back, quickly wrapping around the protagonist's beast form. In the audience, someone shouts in shock that those tendrils are regenerating, and everyone's eyes go wide. The blue creature remembers Wang Lihu mentioning that regeneration is one of Li Qingnan's tricks. Meanwhile, the plant creature fully regenerates its tendrils, gearing up for a fresh attack with all its energy. The tendrils charge at the protagonist, and the opponent yells for Lin Yuan to go to hell. They dive toward the blue creature, which confidently states it won't go down from a weak attack like that. Then, the protagonist's beast gathers a massive sphere of blue energy in its mouth, prepping for a counterattack. Quickly, it fires a powerful energy beam upward, obliterating the opponent's tendrils in a flash. In the arena, plant debris rains down, and a spectator shouts out props for the protagonist for wrecking all those vines. The plant creature gets furious, whining about being embarrassed in front of everyone and feeling super provoked. The protagonist's blue monster then confidently asks if the opponent has any new tricks up their sleeve. Immediately, the plant form launches a new attack, even denser and more powerful, with its sharp tendrils. Once again, Lin Yuan's creature is completely surrounded by a massive amount of green vines. In the audience, the protagonist's friends are freaking out, while one of them says there's no way he can defend against so many hits. Wang Lihu chimes in, saying it's tough to call, since even with a heads up, dodging this kind of attack is a whole other level. In the crowd, the chubby friend looks super worried, watching the fight with his hands clasped like he's praying for a miracle. Up close, we see the colleague sweating bullets, totally nervous about how the protagonist is holding up in this battle. Meanwhile, the blue beast gets hit by Li Qingnun's killer strike, a crazy multi-directional attack of vines. Still, Lin Yuan's creature isn't backing down, firing another energy beam upward at the plants. The narrator spills the tea that it's gonna be tough for the protagonist to clear all those vines at once. At that moment, one of the vines is about to stab our boy. Then, in a flash, several other vines try to strike the protagonist from all angles. Desperate, the chubby friend's eyes go wide, mouth hanging open, totally shocked by the chaos in the arena. At this moment, the plant creature smirks and asks if Lin Yuan is ready to beg for mercy. The blue beast realizes those green vines are draining its energy, making it feel weaker than a phone on 1%. Lin Yuan then figures out that this must be the enemy's second ability, the energy-sucking move. The plant form asks what's wrong and tells him to beg for mercy if he doesn't want to be drained dry. But the blue beast fires back, saying the opponent isn't even close to making him beg for anything. A close-up of the protagonist's creature's claw shows its determination as a dark aura radiates from it. With a swipe of its claws, the protagonist slices through the vines that were holding him back and draining his strength. Even though it's weakened, the blue monster pushes forward, cutting through the vines to get closer to the opponent. The enemy grumbles that the boy is toast, even if he somehow makes it to him. More vines try to stab the protagonist, but he keeps pushing through, brave as ever. In detail, we see the blue creature's feet taking a solid step toward its opponent in the arena. Finally, the protagonist reaches the plant creature and grabs its tendrils, ready for some close combat. The blue beast then gathers a massive sphere of bright energy in its mouth, gearing up for a huge attack. The plant opponent recognizes that nuclear energy aura, saying it's already got a solid counter ready. Then, the plant creature raises its long green tendrils, prepping to defend against the protagonist's strike. Quickly, the opponent forms a thick and thorny shield with its vines to brace for impact. The blue beast unleashes its stored energy while the enemy shrinks behind its plant defense. The powerful blue energy beam slams into the vine shield, creating a blinding and intense impact. A spectator shouts about the epic blow, wondering if the celestial vine shield can hold up. The vine shield starts to crack under the pressure of the blue attack, showing just how strong it really is. As a result, the plant creature gets pushed back by the massive force of the blow but still stands tall. He thinks he's absorbed a ton of energy, but the protagonist's power is still wild and surprising. Believing he's blocked the strongest move and with the boy's remaining strength, he feels invincible. Then the enemy claims the protagonist has nothing left to threaten him, declaring victory is already his. The blue beast smirks, telling the opponent he's completely out of luck now. Then the plant monster is taken aback, telling the boy to stop bluffing, thinking he's only got one more shot left. At that moment, the blue creature reveals its trump card, saying if it weren't for its energy storage crystal, it admits it might not have taken down that strong opponent without the help of that powerful artifact. Then it says that unfortunately, there aren't many ifs, and that's why the rival had no luck in this fight. The plant creature is stunned by the energy, asking what's going on there in disbelief. Next, the blue beast tells the opponent to go to hell with a fierce and cold look. The opponent is shocked, asking if Lin Yuan is seriously joking with him right now. Quickly, the plant monster concentrates, forming its vine shield again to defend itself. In detail, we see the perfect celestial vine defense of the enemy rising majestically in the arena. The blue creature fires an even more powerful energy beam, while the rival braces for the impact. In the audience, the protagonist's friends are totally stunned. Jaws dropped at what just went down. That powerful blue lightning blasts through the vine shield, shredding it like it's made of tissue paper, wrecking everything in its way. Then, bam, the plant creature gets hit hard, its body cracking from the impact, like a piñata at a birthday party. The enemy gets slammed against the arena wall, leaving a massive hole when it crashes down. In that moment, the protagonist's beast form fades away as the plant creature crumples to the arena floor, totally defeated. The crowd is buzzing, wondering if the protagonist actually pulled off the win in this epic showdown. The red-haired friend jumps up, shouting that the boy totally won, jumping from 18th to 4th place on the leaderboard. The narrator chimes in, saying the duel is over, and the winner strolls back to his human form next to the fallen foe. Meanwhile, the crew is hyped, celebrating their victory and the 45 million they just scored from the bet, while the red-haired one grins ear to ear. From a distance, the protagonist stands tall, eyeing his vanquished opponent sprawled on the wrecked arena floor. A dude with a necklace made of teeth watches the scene, looking serious and definitely not impressed. Li Qingnan is out cold on the arena floor after that brutal hit from the protagonist. He smirks at the leader, saying this is his first gift, asking if it was a hit or miss. Wu Xuangu shoots a glare at Lin Yuan, accusing him of being ruthless and asking if he even thought about the fallout. The protagonist fires back, questioning the consequences and if the leader thought about them when he acted all high and mighty. He remembers his roommate Zhao Ming getting hurt by his crew for not playing by their rules, and his other buddy Song Lan, who had his back, also got wrecked and is now stuck in the infirmary. With a cold stare, the boy asks if the leader thought about the consequences of his actions back then. The opponent tries to backtrack, saying it's all just a misunderstanding, and the protagonist is left wondering how that even makes sense. Wu Xuangu apologizes for his crew's lack of control, saying they got a bit too wild. He offers that if the protagonist is upset, he can apologize for the whole organization. Then he invites Lin Yuan and Song Lan to join his crew and be pals. He promises that if they accept, they won't have to lift a finger, getting the same treatment as Shen Kang. In the audience, people are whispering that he wants to recruit the protagonist because having him as an enemy would be a total disaster. The boy grins and asks if the leader offered those same sweet deals to him before. At that moment, the head of the organization looks confused, asking what Lin Yuan means by that weird question. Lin Yuan locks eyes with the leader, saying he's just using the newcomer's cash to build his empire. He then asks the opponent if he knows why Chu Tianyi turned him down, saying lions don't roll with wolves. The chief's face twists with anger as Lin Yuan finishes, saying they hate the insects even more. Our boy calls their crew insects that suck the life out of newcomers and questions if they really think they're tough. In the audience, one guy is left speechless, saying the protagonist is wilder than he is for saying this. Others chime in, agreeing that the ranking has turned into a total resource monopoly. Fuming, Wu Xuangu thinks he's never been so humiliated and wonders who this kid thinks he is. Lin Yuan raises his hand, pointing out that the opponent looks pretty unconvinced by his words. He assures him it doesn't matter if the rival sends Shen Kang or fights himself, he's going down. With a fierce look, Lin Yuan declares that the match has already kicked off, telling the leader to make his move. Wu Xuangu glares at our boy, pure hatred in his eyes as he steps back from the lit-up empty arena. Later, we see the front of the Baiyun private restaurant, where the crew went to celebrate their epic win. At the table, a friend says it's his first time here, and that this place looks pretty fancy. Another buddy is checking out the menu filled with exotic dishes while Chief Wang tells them to order whatever they want. No holding back. The friend thinks the chubby guy is super generous, and he replies that it's all Lin Yuan's fault for scoring that 45 million. Chief Wang offers a drink to the protagonist, but he turns it down, saying he's hitting the training room later. The crew is shocked by his dedication, while one of them jokes that if he doesn't drink, he doesn't see them as brothers. But the young man eventually gives in to the peer pressure, deciding to sip a little of the wine they offered him. Satisfied, the crew grins, filling the hero's glass to celebrate the moment with some serious vibes. The red-haired buddy gives him a shout-out for snagging 4th place, but the winner brushes it off, saying it was just luck and some solid intel. Another friend suggests tea instead of wine, and the young man is all about it, saying he's not fully healed and wants to climb that ranking. The serious pal warns that the hero totally embarrassed the leader, and he's not going to let that slide without a little payback. Lin Yuan coolly replies that at the university, it won't be easy for the rival to pull any dirty tricks on him. With a grin, the protagonist jokes that he's counting on his buddy to have his back. The food rolls in at the restaurant, and the crew keeps the drinks flowing to toast the young man's win. In the infirmary of Beast University of Mo City, a lit and closed door looms in the background. The leader swings by to check on Li Qingnan, who's in bed, totally shocked, asking how he even lost the fight. The injured one wonders if they should drag the hero into their crew, but the chief says he's just too annoying. Then Wu Xuangu offers a special healing potion that regenerates limbs, telling him to chill. Li Qingnan is taken aback by the item, saying it's way too pricey for him, so he passes. The leader tells his buddy not to sweat the small stuff because he needs him for the competition. As the chief steps out, telling him to rest up, the injured one thanks him a ton for the help. Quickly, Wu Xuangu bounces out of the infirmary, striding down the corridor with serious vibes. With pure rage on his face, he thinks that 1st or 2nd place, both are just a bunch of useless trash. Next, the young man hits up the vice principal's office and knocks on the door, waiting for the green light to enter. From inside, a voice gives the go-ahead, and the leader gets ready to meet the big guy. When he opens the door, he sees the vice principal's silhouette, back turned, checking out the spacious room. In a respectful tone, Wu Xuangu greets the older man, calling him uncle in that moment. Vice Principal Li Xiangui turns to him, saying he doesn't have such a useless nephew. He then asks if the nephew knows exactly where he messed up the most. Up close, the man says it's because the young dude is way too arrogant and thinks he's clever, but really, he's just a fool. Wu Xuangu listens quietly as the uncle calls him weak, saying he's getting easily outpaced. Next, the director complains about giving him the best resources and helping him build a list of hunters, making 3rd place a total disgrace. Furious, he thinks he graduated at the top of the hidden dragon list, questioning how his nephew is such a loser. Then the older man asks, since the leader came to ask for help, what he wants to do now. With determination, the young man replies that he wants nothing and that he'll take on Lin Yuan himself to reclaim his pride. The uncle warns that if he's not sure of winning, it's better to back off, since the national championship kicks off in 10 days. He explains that this is the first national competition for newcomers, and all the big schools are watching because geniuses will rise. The young man gets that only by shining in the competition will he prove his worth, and the humiliation won't matter, saying he gets it. Then the elder tells his nephew to handle the rest and focus on leveling up, while Wu Xuangu thanks him for the advice. In a high-level training room, a girl in a cap confirms that the protagonist really took down Li Qingnan. Smiling, the other girl agrees, saying he never does anything without absolute confidence in his moves. The girl with a ponytail asks if now that she's leveled up, she's aiming for a higher rank, and the other explains about the national competition. With her strength, the friend says there's no way she'll have a problem, asking who she plans to challenge among the top 10 students. Determined, the girl in the cap says it'll obviously be the leader, and her friend wonders if it's because he dissed Lin Yuan. The girl confirms that if the enemy is coming for the hero, there's no way she's leaving him hanging, and her friend thinks she's got his back. Outside, we see Beast University of Mo City and the epic Beast Soul Hall showing off its grandeur. He's blown away by the size of the place, which has spots for combat, business, and missions, deciding to head to the business area. Inside, a staff member approaches the hero and his little beast, asking if she can help him with anything right now. The staff member thinks that since he's young, he probably won't make any big requests, just standing there with a smile. Lin Yuan asks if they sell storage badges here, because he totally needs one. With eyes sparkling, she gets hyped, saying of course they have them and already dreams of a massive order of 1 million. On the 12th floor, at the badge counter, there's a whole display of shiny, colorful stuff just waiting to be bought. He mentions that his copper badge only has 10 cubic meters, while the little creature chimes in that it's still pretty small. The hero asks about a badge with more than 10 cubic meters, and the girl says yes, recommending one that's pretty cool. She shows him a ring with 20 cubic meters, super easy to carry, but it costs 5 million, which is kinda steep. The young man decides to grab the ring, also asking for some inferior beast soul crystals, leaving the attendant totally stunned. With a grin, the protagonist says he wants 100,000 units of the crystals for his little beast. The girl's jaw drops, asking why he needs so many and saying she has to tell the manager about this. Lin Yuan smiles, explaining he's a student at Mo City University and his supervisor researches crystals, so he's just helping out. Surprised, the attendant says she'll get everything ready while the young man also asks for 100 beast spirit pills. She thinks he's rolling in cash and tells him the total is 20 million, but he's only got 8 and wants to save some. With a focused look, the boy seems to catch on to something interesting, or maybe he's cooking up a plan for his cash flow issue. Suddenly, a bright light pops up in front of him, and the protagonist looks shocked at what just appeared. A wind spirit rune, a divine weapon of Beast King level, shows up, making the young man wonder what in the world that is. His little beast explains it's a rune that boosts attributes and agility without taking up space, kinda like a power-up. The creature confirms but adds it's useful on its own since its strength and explosion now boost its master's speed. Lin Yuan sighs, saying it's pricey since he still needs 12 million, and the little creature suggests he borrow some cash. Excited, he calls someone asking to borrow 15 million, promising to pay it all back within a month after that. On the phone, the friend finds it wild that he's asking for a loan, asking where the 20 million went, and he replies he spent it on gear. The young man thanks his bro while the staff member approaches him at the item store counter. Cheerfully, the attendant tells him that the 100,000 inferior crystals are already stored in the ring, thinking he's her personal ATM. Lin Yuan then points to the floating blue rune, saying he'll also buy that item. Crying tears of joy, the girl celebrates hitting her goal for the month, thanks to that huge purchase, and thanks him. The staff member waves goodbye to her personal ATM, and the hero leaves, thinking about how a rich person can go broke in 2 days, realizing spending is tough. In the afternoon, in the dorm, the protagonist is surprised to see so many people gathered, asking what's going down right now. A buddy comments that he arrived just in time because they were about to head out for a class, inviting him to join the squad. The young man questions whether they shouldn't just focus on cultivation, since the classes at the university are self-audited and don't count for points. A friend agrees but explains that it's still important to attend this class, especially for those at the Beast King level like them. The boy asks why and what the class is about, and an explanation pops up about the huge gap between levels. Another buddy excitedly announces that this time the legendary Professor Zhao Shanhei will be teaching everyone. The news that the master will teach how to level up from Beast King to the super coveted Lord level shocks the protagonist. In the lecture hall of City Mo University, we see a bunch of students gathered for the class. The protagonist wonders if Professor Zhao Shanhei is really that famous, and a friend confirms he is, since he's a total genius. Then the guy in purple notices that all the prime front seats have already been snatched up by the crowd of students. At that moment, the chubby guy says not to stress because he'll handle getting seats in the front row. Then, the chubby friend offers a thank you fee of 10,000 to anyone who gives up their seats for them. Several hands shoot up and a bunch of people shout that they can totally give up their seats without a second thought. Thus, they snag front row seats, and the protagonist thinks this is money flexing its muscles. Next up, Professor Zhao Shanhei struts onto the stage, ready to kick off the lecture everyone's been buzzing about. He spots Lin Yuan in the crowd, looking all pleased that the kid actually showed up. In that moment, he thanks all the students for being there, saying they're all here to level up to the Lord level. He explains that without leveling up, they'll be stuck at the Beast King level, which is basically like being stuck in a video game with no save points. He drops the bomb that the secret to evolving is realizing your own Dao, whatever that is. Lin Yuan's brain is doing backflips, wondering what this Dao even means. Other students are just as lost, whispering to each other, "What's a Dao?" The master then breaks it down, saying the Dao is all about vibing with your beast soul and making it part of you, kinda like a friendship bracelet but way cooler. A buddy nudges Song Lan, asking if he gets this mysterious stuff, and he shrugs, saying he's got a tiny clue. Zhao reassures them that confusion is totally normal, sharing how he spent half a year in the mountains just to evolve. His beast soul, an earth-furious bear, which is why he had to feel the earth's weight and the bear's moves, like a nature workout. Then one day, bam, he felt something click, and suddenly, the earth and the bear were his power. Out of nowhere, a massive bear aura explodes on stage, and the students are all, "Whoa, that's epic!" The protagonist thinks that the pressure from a Lord-level warrior is on a whole different planet. Looking at his hand, he realizes that beast souls are totally unique for everyone, like custom sneakers. The master keeps going, saying each person's Dao is one of a kind, and they gotta figure out what fits them best. No need to rush. Zhao then brings up Jiang Yang, the Emperor-level Beast Soul Master, who took 3 years to get enlightened. Our boy's jaw drops at the 3 years, while a classmate explains how Jiang Yang zoomed ahead after that. But the professor insists that before enlightenment, he was just average and didn't have the grind, but getting enlightened isn't a walk in the park or a total nightmare. Lin Yuan thinks the Dao sounds super abstract, wondering if to vibe with the beast soul, you gotta resonate with it, like a perfect playlist. Finally, class wraps up, and the professor steps off the stage. One of the boy's friends jokes that he didn't get a single thing about Dao or soul, and wonders if he should start catching snakes for answers. Another buddy bursts out laughing, saying he's in the same boat, totally lost. Song Lan chimes in, saying he gets a bit because he resisted his beast soul but realized his attacks were kinda weak. He wonders if he needs to embrace his beast soul's extra traits to finally find his Dao. The protagonist thinks Song Lan's got some serious insight, calling him a genius. Impressed, the hero notes how quickly his friend grasped the Dao just from that chat. The professor strolls over, asking if he understood, and the boy says it was awesome, but he's still clueless about which Dao he needs. Zhao calms him down, saying he leveled up fast to a Soul E, ranking 4th on the list, while the young man wants to give back. Taking the cash, the master jokes that the student hit the jackpot with those bets he made earlier. Lin Yuan and his chubby friend make a heart with their hands, suggesting the professor should join in on the betting fun. But the elder shakes his head, saying it's not happening since the leader's off on a mission, making the colleague tease that he's dodging the hero. The teacher grins, saying the other doesn't mind watching the chaos, but his uncle's the one stirring the pot, so it was his idea. With that, the protagonist's friend realizes he's a beast soul master at the emperor level who doesn't vibe with his dad and acts without a care. But the master assures that Li Xianggu won't go solo and will keep an eye on the students so the young man can train in peace. And he's grateful. So days turned into nights, and time flew by as the protagonist dove into some serious training. Next, we see the hero meditating, surrounded by piles of soul crystals, with a powerful golden energy radiating from him. At this moment, the little beast pipes up, saying the 100 pills hit hard, and he absorbed 5,000 crystals in 5 days, leveling up to the 4-star Beast King level. And the young man sighs, lamenting that after dropping 5 million evolution points, he still didn't hit the 5-star level and starts pondering the Dao. Then the little creature suggests checking out the real combat training mode, since it remembers that the advanced room has this cool feature. Curious, the protagonist reaches out to tap the control panel of the training room. A list of opponents pops up, featuring the giant swamp squid, the golden wolf, and the iron-scaled monkey with the magical snail monkey. The little beast explains that the real combat simulation lets you fight suitable opponents, simulating battles without any real damage. The protagonist picks the 5-star beast, the iron-scaled monkey with golden pupils, for his training. With a serious look, the young man gets ready for the combat simulation that's about to kick off. A message confirms the simulation is a go, and the real combat begins with his beast in a fresh battle scenario. In his blue beast form, he glances around, wondering where he's landed this time. Suddenly, the massive iron-scaled monkey with golden pupils appears in front of him, letting out a roar that could wake the neighbors. Without wasting a second, the golden monkey lunges at the blue beast with a powerful punch. The protagonist creature gets sent flying back by the monkey's insane strength, feeling that hit for sure. Shocked, he wonders if this is what a 5-star beast can really do in battle. The monkey, eyes blazing with fury, roars again, ready to keep the pressure on. The protagonist's blue beast gears up for a counterattack, electric claws crackling with energy. Then he strikes the monkey's neck with a zap, but something feels off. Surprised, he realizes the neck isn't the weak spot, discovering that the furry parts are also covered in iron scales. His blue thunder claw unexpectedly gets stuck in the golden opponent, and he's totally taken aback. With a smirk, the monkey shows off, trapping the attack in its tough neck. Then the golden monkey seizes the moment to deliver a swift and brutal hit to the blue beast. Stunned by the monkey's speed, the protagonist creature wonders how it's even possible. Inside the training room of Mo City University, the hero's challenge is wrapping up way too fast. The young man's blue beast takes a heavy hit, and he's shocked by how much damage the monkey just dealt. The golden opponent keeps attacking, knocking down our protagonist's beast form like it's nothing. Back in his human form, the young man wakes up on the floor, feeling the sting of that simulated fatal blow. A message pops up saying the combat simulation is over and the challenger has failed. Still catching his breath, he comments on how that hit felt way too real for just a virtual battle. With a serious look, the protagonist realizes that if this were a real fight, he'd be toast. He reflects that it was his bad for underestimating the opponent's speed and strength. The little creature asks if he wants to try again, or pick a different monster to battle. Then the simulation with the iron-scaled monkey restarts, and his beast is back on the battlefield. In the arena, the golden opponent stands tall before the blue beast. This time, the protagonist's creature decides to go on the offensive, blasting a powerful blue energy beam from its mouth. But the golden monkey, with its shining eyes, dodges the surprise attack like a pro. Quickly, the opponent sidesteps, narrowly escaping the energy blast that zooms past. Without missing a beat, the blue beast charges in, trying to strike the monkey with a sharp upward blow. The hero's creature confidently declares that the enemy's old tricks won't work this time. With a swift move, the blue form sends the golden monkey flying into the air with a precise strike. Surprised, the golden opponent gets launched high, looking ready for an aerial counterattack. Meanwhile, the blue beast focuses its energy, gearing up for another epic electric attack against the foe. Finally, the blue lightning strikes the golden monkey directly, wrapping it in a powerful surge of energy. The hero's creature unleashes a massive column of energy that shoots up to the sky, hitting the golden monkey mid-air. With the impact, the golden opponent gets rocked in the head, looking dazed from the force of the hit. Staring down the adversary, Lin Yuan's creature gives a fierce farewell with its glowing red eyes. Soon after, the blue beast delivers a final blow, sending the monkey crashing to the ground of the simulated arena. Severely injured, the golden opponent shows clear signs of defeat from the last attack. Over the fallen creature, the protagonist's blue beast takes in the sweet taste of victory in the simulation. Back in his human form, the young man stands in the training room, looking thoughtfully at the ground. With a satisfied grin, the protagonist seems stoked about the outcome of the battle he just crushed. A message pops up, confirming that the young dude totally crushed the challenge and sent his opponent packing. Grinning, he claims this is his real power and that he can take down even tougher beasts if he's got the 411. Meanwhile, at Mo City University, a super important meeting is about to kick off with the big shots. In the conference room, one guy says it's time to roll, and they can finally dive in. Just then, Vice Director Lee strolls in late, coughing and acting all sick, plus he's late, of course. With a fake smile plastered on his face, he says sorry for making everyone wait for his grand entrance. The guy running the meeting watches as Lee makes his way to the big table, looking all casual. Then Lee tells Director Wang Ting to keep going and not sweat his late arrival. Wang Ting replies that aside from the vice, there better not be any more delays, and he's ready to wrap up the list. Out of nowhere, Vice Director Lee's phone starts blasting music, totally interrupting the meeting. He laughs it off, saying he forgot to mute it, making the whole thing even more awkward. In the meeting room, everyone goes silent and a weird vibe fills the air. One guy notices that old Lee still seems salty about Wang Ting. Another dude chimes in, saying Lee is totally poking the bear but agrees with the main idea. Then Ling Shuang Yue, mentor to Sumu Shui, points out her student who fused her soul with royal blood and leveled up to SSS. Someone thinks, wow, Ling turned down the vice director gig but got her student to SSS in record time. At that moment, Director Wang Ting asks if anyone has beef with the candidate suggested by Professor Ling, and everyone's on board. A guy with glasses raises his hand to shout out Chu Tianyi, while another thinks it's pointless to mention the top student. Then the director says 3 spots are filled, and he's nominating the young Wu Xuangu. Vice Director Lee jumps in, saying the kid is 3rd in the rankings and has an SSS soul ready to represent. Lee keeps hyping the kid for his strength and leadership skills, and everyone's nodding along. Someone remembers Wu Xuangu leads the hunters, and the director thinks Lee's backing him because he sees a younger version of himself. The vice director laughs, saying he's flattered, but he thinks Mo City University is about to be his playground. Then Director Wang Ting throws Lin Yuan into the mix, since he just took down the 4th-ranked Li Qingnan. Director Lee cuts in, asking if the main character is also his fellow townsman and student, sounding a bit shady. Plus, he's still rocking an E-grade B soul, and it'd be a disaster to throw someone like that into the competition. He jokes, saying it's not cool. and asks if the university has hit rock bottom by nominating E-Souls. Fuming, director Wang Ting slams his hand on the table, making everyone jump. He asks Lee what he means and why he can't nominate someone who's actually capable. One guy in the room tells the professor to chill and have a little patience right now. Vice Director Lee says the kid's growth is cool but questions if that guarantees the same for the others. Then he asks if Professor Zhao is ready to deal with the fallout if an E-grade flops. In the meeting room, Director Wang Ting locks eyes with Vice Director Lee, who's not backing down. He asks, since when are limits set just by talent, claiming Lin Yuan's ranking shows he's got what it takes. Two other guys at the table back up Wang Ting, and one even adds his 2 cents. Vice Director Lee replies that he's not doubting the kid's strength, just voicing his worries. He stresses that the boy's beast soul is only E-grade, which makes him pretty nervous. Wang Ting thinks that unlike Li Mu, Vice Director Li Xiang is sharp and clearly gunning for his student. Another dude in the room says Li's perspective is actually super relevant to the convo. Li finds the support odd and doesn't believe the other guy is really on his side, then wonders what Wang Ting is plotting. The same guy continues that the university needs to weigh the risks, since this is the first national competition, a chance they can't miss. With this twist in the convo, Director Wang Ting and the bespectacled dude next to him are totally taken aback. At this moment, the guy says it's selfish to ruin a student's shot for the university's rep, suggesting they add him to the substitutes. Grateful, the professor turns to the director, thanking him for giving Lin Yuan this shot. With a serious look, the university director just nods in agreement with Wang Ting. Irritated, Vice Director Lee thinks to himself that his colleague shouldn't be so smug about that tiny win. Meanwhile, outside the training room, the morning sun is shining bright in the clear blue sky of the campus. Lin Yuan mentions it's been ages since he's seen the outside world, and a buddy spots him, totally shocked. His friend bolts over, making Lin Yuan wonder if something major went down to cause such a mad dash. Gasping for air, the friend spills the tea that Su Mu Shui has come out of hiding to challenge Shen Chang, and they gotta bounce. Lin Yuan asks if her ranking even lets her challenge second place, and the friend breaks down the top 10 rules. Then Lin Yuan remembers, feeling bummed, his epic winning streak over the last 12 days that he worked so hard for. But the friend yells for them to hurry up while Lin Yuan chases after him, asking him to chill for a second. Right then, the friend thinks about how Lin Yuan says his relationship with the girl is chill, but they clearly care a lot. The scene shifts to Mo City University at ring number 1 in the arena. Finally, they roll up, and other students are chatting about Su Mu Shui's insane strength, making one feel kinda small. Lin Yuan and his buddy are taken aback by the chatter, and the friend asks if everyone's really talking about her. In the arena, Shen Chang's beast soul, the white snow fang, is looking pretty beat up and bleeding. The injured creature roars like it's auditioning for a heavy metal band while a powerful aura surrounds it. Then Su Mu Shui's nine-tailed snow fox, SSS, struts in, asking who gave them the right to stare. The fox then launches a flurry of ice blades at the wolf, who's watching the attack come down from above. The wounded wolf scoffs, saying a little ice blade can't stop him. Even after getting hit by a bunch of ice blades, he keeps charging forward with mad determination. Wounded and bleeding, the wolf spots an opening, shouting that this is his moment to strike back. But the snow fox waves goodbye to the challenger, forming a massive ice claw for the final blow. With a thunderous crash, the wolf gets smashed by the ice claw, crashing hard to the ground of the arena. Fallen and shocked, the wolf wonders when the fox pulled off that slick move in the arena. Then the ice creature looms over the downed wolf, gearing up for its next move in this epic showdown. Soon after, a huge impact slams down where the fang was, showing off the fox's raw power. The wolf grumbles while the victor warns him not to move if he doesn't want to get wrecked right there. Stuck under the paw of the SSS beast, the wolf finally throws in the towel, admitting defeat in this tough fight. Lin Yuan watches in disbelief, wondering when the girl got so strong since that attack was off the charts. In the stands, spectators are buzzing about her strength, and one asks who would win between her and Chu Tianyi since he's supposed to be stronger. Lin Yuan thinks about the number 1 in the ranking, and what kind of genius he must be when a small Su Mu Shui calls out to him. The girl smiles adorably with her eyes closed, totally vibing in the moment. She then strolls over to them, saying she was going to challenge Wu Xuangu, but he ghosted, so she took on Shen Kang instead. Then she asks who scared them, bragging about how well she did in the fight. Next, the boy gives her props, saying she was awesome, and a cute version of him affectionately ruffles her hair. In the crowd, people are whispering about how the two are tight and studied together, making one boy declare he's totally in love. Their friend feels like a third wheel, asking them to think about his feelings for a second. At this, the girl calls out the friend for being jealous of their moment. Lin Yuan looks ahead, casually mentioning that he also wanted to challenge Shen Chang. The friend thinks it over, saying it seems she messed up even though she was trying to help him. He then reassures her, saying it's not her fault, and since the opponent lost to her, he'll just challenge someone else, making her wonder who. She asks if it's gonna be the number 1 in the ranking, and Lin Yuan, with a confident grin, confirms it is. The chubby boy is stunned, asking if he's really sure, since that guy is nothing like Shen Chang or Wu Xuangu, and if he's really ready for that. At this, the girl goes quiet and serious, her expression intense as she sizes up the protagonist. She's thinking about whether her friend really wants to take on the top dog in the rankings, remembering some advice from her teacher. In a flashback, the girl asks her master if she can challenge the top 10 on the hidden dragon list. The instructor replies that with her skills back then, she could take down anyone on that list, except for the number 1, Chu Tianyi. The girl is left totally speechless by her master's take on that specific fighter and his insane strength. Back in the present, she says she respects her friend's choice and believes in his strength, but that opponent is no joke. Her friend admits he's not even sure if the protagonist could win the challenge. He responds that he wants to give it a shot, even if he loses, because it'll show him how far he has to go to reach the top without courage. The girl's eyes go wide and her jaw drops, totally blown away by her friend's determination. Out of nowhere, Professor Zhao shows up with another dude and praises the boy, saying he's totally worthy of being his student. The master keeps going, saying the young man really didn't let him down, and the other guy chimes in that Zhao has a solid disciple. The 3 students greet Professors Zhao and Meng, and Zhao says they're basically family, so no need for all that formal stuff. Then the instructor drops a bombshell on the protagonist, saying that even though he really wants it, he won't get to fight Chu Tianyi. With a look of shock and a bead of sweat rolling down his forehead, Lin Yuan asks why. The master explains that the participant list is already out, and the school doesn't want any internal beef to avoid injuries, which the young man gets. He then shows a list with names like Chu Tianyi, Wu Xuangu, Wang Linhu, Shen Chang, Su Mushui, Song Lan, Li Qingnan, Yuan Lian, and Lin Yuan as a backup. The protagonist stares at the paper in his hands, totally confused. At this point, the master explains that he put in a good word for him, but the vice principal tried to block it because his soul is grade E, so the principal made him a substitute. Meanwhile, Professor Meng jumps in, telling the boy not to blame his instructor, since he did everything he could to get him a spot. Fired up, the friend questions the unfairness, pointing out that the other 2 lost to him but are on the official list. The girl declares she won't accept this and bolts off to find her master to give up her spot, saying he deserves it more. Quickly, Lin Yuan reaches out, grabbing his friend's wrist before she can escape. Surprised, the young woman turns to him, her face lit up with shock. With a serious look, the protagonist faces the friend who's trying to run away. He firmly holds her arm and shakes his head, signaling her to stop, but the professor explains that the list was approved by the higher-ups, and even if she doesn't participate, the spot won't go to him. Lin Yuan then asks if the vice principal is related to the leader of the hunters, and the friend watches him closely. The master confirms that's part of it, but mainly he's clashing with Principal Wang Ting. Then the boy with white hair realizes he's just caught in their political drama. Looking at the instructor, the young man thanks him for everything, telling him not to feel bad about what went down. The protagonist says that even as a substitute, he still has a shot. With a confident grin, he declares he'll definitely take back what's his with his own hands. Professor Zhao thinks it's wild how Lin Yuan accepted everything so quickly and still kept his cool. At that moment, the chubby boy pipes up, saying when he talks to his dad, he'll see if he can get him on the official list, since it'd be a bummer to go as a backup. But the protagonist replies that it's not needed, since the director must have his reasons, and this shows he's not just listening to the vice. Then his friend comments that, either way, he thinks the guy might be more interested in another list. The colleague grins, saying since he's all about info, he can guess who's on that list and starts reading some names out loud. Suddenly, the boy's eyes go wide, shocked by something he read on the paper while the teachers watch in the background. The friend leans in, worried, asking what's up. Curious, the girl snatches the paper from her friend's hand and looks at him with a big question mark over her head. The name Wang Jinzhe pops up on the paper, and the boy can't believe it, wondering if his friend's dad pulled some strings to get him in. Wang Jinzhe, fired up, yells, asking why his dad would bench him if he really wanted to help. The girl turns to Professor Zhao, asking if he didn't recommend Wang Jinzhe. Then, the master drops the bomb that it wasn't him, but Li Xiangyi, who gave the thumbs up, claiming the kid's got mad potential, and the friend's not buying it. Our boy spills that the vice director just wants to mess with director Wang Ting, since any choice would backfire on him. He tries to chill his friend out, saying the director's got his back, but Wang Jinzhe insists his beast soul isn't for fighting. Curious, the protagonist asks what his friend's beast soul is, but the boy keeps it on the down low. The friend, in a playful tone, wonders if he's still keeping it a secret, and the master reassures them that there are perks. The instructor reveals that every participant gets the same resource subsidy, totaling 50 million. Lin Yuan lights up at the 50 million, asking if he can snag a piece since he still owes his friend 15 million. Then the master mentions that the university has rare goodies like elixirs and weapons, suggesting the young man pick later. Grateful, the boy thanks the professor while his friend grins, and Wang Jinzhe is straight up crying tears of joy at the news. At the Beast University of Mo City, a dude is peeping from the director's office window. With a serious face, Director Wang Ting keeps staring out from his spacious office. Out of nowhere, a mysterious voice calls for Mr. Shadow. The director turns, telling Mr. Shadow to knock next time he rolls into his office. The hooded Mr. Shadow just says he's getting used to it. The director asks Mr. Shadow how the boys took the news. He reports that Wang Jinze was all wide-eyed and nervous, thinking it was a trap from Li Xiangui. The director says he knows his son well, that his strength is level 4 and he doesn't take the vice seriously, making the hooded figure raise an eyebrow at his insecurity. He explains that the insecurity comes from his genius brother and his weird soul, but this competition is his last shot. Switching gears, the director leans on the table, asking how Lin Yuan is doing. Mr. Shadow, with the protagonist in the background, comments that the kid was super chill and didn't act like a freshman. With one eye glowing red, the hooded figure says he feels they're cut from the same cloth. Director Wang Ting's eyes go wide, and a bead of sweat rolls down his face. The director mentions it's rare for him to give props and suggests Mr. Shadow make him his disciple after the competition. Not interested in disciples, Mr. Shadow turns down the offer. With a hint of disappointment, the director sighs, saying it'd be a shame for the young man. With a thoughtful look, director Wang Ting ponders the protagonist's potential. A few days later, at the treasure house of Mo City, a massive modern building stands tall. Inside, an old dude with scars asks if the 3 boys are the candidates. In silence, the protagonist, Wang Jinze, and the 3rd boy wait for the man's orders. Confirming their identities, Professor Zhao hands over a document signed by the director. After checking the paper, the old man says they can go in and pick their items. With a serious look, the elder locks eyes with the young men and starts dropping some important warnings. Wrapping up the warning, he tells them to bounce as soon as time's up while the 3 move forward. Calming Mr. Chen, Professor Zhao says he knows the rules and will keep an eye on the young ones while offering a drink. The elder thanks the instructor for his thoughtfulness, while the master says he's always on it and they should sip slow. As they step inside, one of the boys with the protagonist asks who that old man was earlier. The instructor then asks if they've heard of the Beast Soul Master who saved a whole city solo 20 years ago. With shocked faces, the 3 young men look at the master, and one of them starts to ask if he means that guy. Confirming their guesses, the professor reveals it was Chen Tunri, telling them not to judge him by his messy look. One of the boys asks about the used to be, and the master explains that after fighting solo, he got wrecked and his beast soul took a hit. The instructor drops some serious knowledge, saying if he takes a breather, he could live another 10 or 20 years, which is why he's all about guarding the treasure house. Wang Jinze chimes in, saying he heard old Chen can be a bit of a grump, but he's actually vibing with Professor Zhao. With a smug grin, the master brags that he and Elder Chen are tight because the old dude saw his rare talent. Pointing a finger, the red-haired buddy cracks a joke that their friendship is all about the meat and fancy wine the master always rolls in with. Annoyed, the professor gives the kid a light smack and rushes them into the treasure house, reminding them they've only got half an hour. Inside the spacious spot, they spot a bunch of items on pedestals, ready to kick off the tough decision-making. Lin Yuan is all eyes, checking out shelves packed with ancient scrolls and even a shiny cauldron. The 3rd buddy is also peeping the artifacts, admiring the vases and other cool relics on display. Then the red-haired friend warns that the 1st floor is just basic stuff and suggests they hit the 2nd floor, making Lin Yuan super grateful. Left alone, the protagonist thinks about elixirs and weapons, wishing he had more than 50 million for all his needs. He remembers Master Zhao saying that to reach enlightenment, he needs treasures that boost the soul. A light bulb goes off in Lin Yuan's head as he seems to have a genius idea. As he keeps searching, a mysterious glowing blue cube pops up next to him, totally grabbing his attention. An info box appears, revealing it's a mini nuclear reactor costing 30 million and warns him to be careful with it. Eyes wide in shock, the protagonist can't believe he's staring at a mini nuclear reactor. Holding the cube, the boy grins, thinking that this massive nuclear energy was basically made for him. Half an hour later, the time's up for the treasure house choices for the young men. Outside, Professor Zhao is waiting patiently with his arms crossed for the trio to return. With a smile, the master strolls over, curious about what they spent their precious resource quotas on. The protagonist's friend spills that he dropped 45 million on a crossbow, spiritual pills, and some advanced crystals. Wang Jinze, with a sly grin, says he snagged a divine weapon for 50 million to flip it for a profit of about 30 million. The other friend then asks why he didn't grab a weapon for himself, and the boy says it's tough to find one that fits, calling it a reuse situation. Turning to the protagonist, Professor Zhao asks if Lin Yuan also picked a divine crossbow. Lin Yuan beams, saying he didn't get a weapon but rather one of the rarest things in the whole world. Curious, the 2 friends lean in, asking what this rare item is. With a confident smile, the protagonist shows off the glowing blue cube, revealing it's a mini nuclear reactor. Wang Jinzi jumps back, stuttering, asking if that's really a nuclear reactor. The protagonist then asks if his friend doesn't get how a nuclear reactor actually works. He explains that a reactor is like coal burning slowly, totally different from a bomb that goes boom like gunpowder. Relieved, Wang Jinze says he was freaked out, and the other friend asks why he picked this gear. Our boy simply says it fits him perfectly and meets his current needs. Then the master asks how much of the resource quota he spent, and he casually says it wasn't much, just 30 million. But the professor comments that it wasn't pricey and that no one else would use that, making the friend say he's amazing and full of surprises. With a grin, the protagonist extends his hand, asking if the friend is trying to gather intel on him again. To this, the chubby boy replies that he doesn't force it, but Lin Yuan is the hardest to figure out at the university and, on top of that, his roommate. Then Professor Zhao asks the boys what their next steps are from here. Quickly, Lin Yuan says he should go practice, while the other buddy agrees he should train too. The professor then turns to the red-haired friend, asking what he plans to do now. With determination, Wang Jinzhe says he'll do the same, thinking they're a bunch of kings on a mission. Then the master warns that in 3 days at 9 in the morning, they need to meet at the gate for the competition. No delays. In unison, the three young men shout with conviction that they totally got the professor's instructions. On a sunny day, we see a big modern building. Sitting with the reactor, Lin Yuan admires it, thinking he has no clue how to use it and wonders if it's like absorbing a soul crystal. The creature explains that, like soul crystals, it's also a consumable item, but absorbed in a different way. Surprised, the protagonist asks what the creature means by that exactly. The little creature says to absorb the energy, he must fuse the item with his beast soul, then his stomach will do the rest. Lin Yuan wonders if he should just swallow the cube, but the creature shakes its head, saying that would only give a temporary boost and some evolution points. With a sly grin, he gets it. The item gives a quick power-up and evolution points, so he better use it wisely. The little creature then bounces with excitement, saying this is its secret weapon for future battles. 3 days later, under a bright blue sky, we see some buildings with futuristic vibes in the university city. From behind, the protagonist sneaks up on the crowd. Nearby, another group of 4 students is throwing some serious side-eye, creating a rivalry vibe in the air. With a serious look, Lin Yuan stares back at the rival group that's been eyeing them. The boy realizes the dude in the purple suit must be Li Xianggu, the vice principal of the rival university, Mo City. From a distance, the protagonist checks out the rival crew, including the vice principal and his squad of lined-up students. One of the rival students, rocking a necklace of teeth, points at Lin Yuan, telling the vice principal, "That's Lin Yuan." With a serious look, the protagonist thinks this rival is the reason he didn't make the official list, vowing to get double revenge. The vice principal catches Lin Yuan's fierce gaze, commenting that the boy's eyes are pretty hostile. The rival tells his superior that Lin Yuan looks like a wolf cub, and the older man says he'll handle the kid. Suddenly, Su Mu Shui, a girl with dark hair, runs up to the protagonist, shouting that she's here. She arrives and Lin Yuan politely greets the silver-haired woman with her, calling her teacher. At that moment, the boy thinks she's Ling Shuang Yue, his friend's teacher, and notes how young she seems while the woman just murmurs. Then, the feet of someone in platform sandals appear, and a voice asks if they didn't agree to meet at 9 o'clock. Dressed in summer clothes, Wang Jinzhe shows up, noticing everyone is already there way too early. Furious, Professor Zhao glares at the boy, smoke practically coming out of his nose from all that anger. In flames, the master questions the young man's outfit for an important event, and he says he'll buy clothes in Yanjing. Laughing, the red-haired friend says he's not late because someone else hasn't arrived yet, and someone yanks his ear. With a dark aura, Professor Zhao looks even angrier at the student's attitude. Dress shoes approach, and a voice apologizes for being a little late to the meeting. Then Chu Tianyi, number 1 on the Hidden Dragon ranking list, finally rolls in. The protagonist watches the top-ranked student with an eager and curious look on his face. Wang Jinzhe points at the newcomer, telling his dad he saw someone who also wasn't there yet. The master retorts that Chu Tianyi is number 1 and spends his time practicing, making the young man complain about double standards. With a wave, Professor Zhao announces that everyone is here and it's time to gear up for the match. Already settled in the transport, the master warns that before they leave, he wants to drop some important knowledge. The instructor starts by saying that to shine in the national rookie competition, one's own strength is key. He continues with the saying that one must know the enemy and oneself, while Lin Yuan and Su Mu Shui listen. The professor wraps it up by saying that in 100 battles, they'll never be defeated. Turning around, the master asks Wang Jinzhe to share the info he managed to gather. Surprised, the young man points to himself, questioning in disbelief if it's really him. The instructor claims to have heard that in recent days, the boy has been gathering data on rival competitors. Wang Jinzhe explains he was collecting info to sell, but since they're friends, he'll give a 20% discount. Discreetly, the protagonist and Su Mu Xue cover their mouths to stifle their laughter at the funny situation. With a somewhat sinister smile, Professor Zhao asks the boy to repeat what he just said. Wang Jinzhe then concedes, saying that for the honor of Mo City University, he'll share everything for free, making the master nod in agreement. Seated, Chu Tianyi and the other colleague seem totally unfazed by the situation while silence hangs between them. The companion with the tooth necklace then asks the top-ranked student if he's not interested in info about the rivals. Chu Tianyi, with a focused look, mentions that the info is about competitors he's already wiped the floor with. Turning slightly, the number 1 casually wonders if he should even care about that. Professor Zhao is all eyes on the 2 students, looking super serious, like he's about to drop some wisdom. Some folks think the number 1 is mega arrogant, but hey, he's got the skills to back it up. The protagonist thinks the dude's got a point, since brains don't mean much against raw power, and he's curious about what this guy can do. Wang Jinze, papers in hand, jumps up all hyped, ready to spill some info to the crew. With a list ready, the red-haired buddy names the top schools: Sichuan, Tianan, Junwu, and the rich kids from Beijing and Hangzhou. One of the guys pipes up, asking if the other schools are even a threat since only Yanjing can hang with them. The boy explains this year is a game changer, the year of geniuses, and every school is stacking their rosters, Sichuan included. Pointing at his buddy, the gambler claims that with his skills, he wouldn't even crack the top 5 there. Shocked, the green-haired student insists he's 4th at his school, doubting Sichuan's hype. The red-haired friend introduces Chen Jushan, the captain of Sichuan, aka Kung Fu Panda, flashing a shiny card. Someone cracks up at the nickname, but the colleague warns that Chen's a martial arts beast and has merged that with his SSS Beast Soul Panda. He's at least a 6-star Beast King, and he's taken down a veteran 7-star Beast King, no biggie. The weakest link on their squad is a peak 4-star Beast King, leaving the green-haired dude speechless. Wang Jinzi says the gap isn't that huge, while Professor Zhao warns that too much swagger can lead to a fall. With a serious vibe, the protagonist thinks Sichuan's strength is no joke, and he might not even measure up. Then the red-haired friend starts talking about Yanjing University and its vice-captain Chen Longxiang, who's rocking an SSS Elephant Soul. Everyone on the ride is shook to hear he's an insane 8-star Beast King. The green-haired guy wonders if someone that strong can even be a freshman, and the gambler says he's not even the top dog at Yanjing. Pointing to the top student, Wang Jinze starts to spill the tea on the strongest, but gets cut off. The number 1 from Mo City University asks who this powerhouse is. Then the red-haired friend drops the bomb. It's Xu Xiao, whose strength and soul are a total mystery, but he's already wiped the floor with Chen Longxiang. A heavy silence hits the vehicle as everyone processes the wild news about this mysterious rival. Trying to lighten the mood, the colleague says not to sweat it since they're used to being the second-best team. Fuming at the comment, Professor Zhao delivers a solid smack to the clueless student's head. With a bump forming, the boy asks why he got hit for just sharing info. Crying, the red-haired friend says everyone wants to be number 1, but their strength speaks louder than words. Sitting down, Chu Tianyi confidently declares he'll take down both Xu Xiao and the vice-captain in the competition. With a determined look, the top student says he could totally be their rival. Then the purple-haired guy chimes in, saying it's not their style to back down, and since the competition hasn't even kicked off, anything can happen. The red-haired friend excitedly agrees, saying in the worst-case scenario, they'll go all out till the end. Proudly, Professor Zhao praises the students, letting them know that at Yanjing, they'll have a special 3-day training program. Then the master suggests to Director Wang that they should use this chance to pick their team captain. Professor Zhao turns to the students, announcing it's time to choose the captain of the squad. Without much surprise, someone suggests the top-ranked player should take the lead, since he's the strongest. With his hand on his chin, Director Wang says he's cool with Chu Tianyi being the captain. But the director adds that while the young man is strong, he could use some backup, suggesting Wu Shuanggu and Song Lan as vice-captains. Then the bearded man describes the leader of the hunters as a pro at management and the other guy as super attentive, making a perfect team. Vice Director Li is on board with the plan, and their ride rolls into a city with some seriously impressive buildings. And just like that, a caption confirms that the captain of the Beast University of Mo City is Chu Tianyi. As vice-captain of the Beast University of Mo City, Wu Shuanggu is introduced with a confident grin. The other vice-captain is Song Lan, who's got a more serious vibe going on. Upon arriving at the station, Professor Zhao rushes the crew, yelling for everyone to hustle to the next spot. Next, the squad hops on a high-speed train to keep the adventure rolling. The train takes off, zooming through a desert landscape toward its final destination. Inside, the main character thinks those competitors are all 5-star Beast Kings, and above, total legends. Glancing at a paper, he feels kinda weak with his 4-star Beast King status. Like, what even? Suddenly, his friend plops down next to him, adjusting her seat to get comfy. With a gentle poke, she taps Lin Yuan's forehead to snap him out of his paper-staring trance. She points out he's been staring for half an hour, and his eyebrows are practically doing yoga from all that worry. The protagonist cracks a small smile at his friend trying to lift his spirits. She encourages him, saying after 3 days of training, he'll level up super fast with his talent. Surprised, Lin Yuan asks if she really believes he can evolve that much. Grinning, the girl says of course she believes in him, because he's Lin Yuan, and that's all that matters. But just then, the chubby guy pops up, apologizing for interrupting but claiming he's got some big news for his pals. Lin Yuan and Su Muxue look at him, eyebrows raised, asking what's the urgent scoop. He excitedly spills that his dad, Professor Zhao, is taking them to train at a bathhouse. In disbelief, Lin Yuan and the girl question if he's serious, thinking he's just messing with them. Wang Jinzi explains they've traveled a ton, and it's time to chill before the competition kicks off. Lin Yuan is skeptical, thinking the director probably has some sneaky plans up his sleeve. Meanwhile, the girl reminds him that the master mentioned a special training program and tells their friend not to get too hyped. Then the chubby guy jokes about what a bathhouse can do for their training while teasing the duo. Annoyed, Su Mu Shui threatens him, who bolts away laughing, saying he'll leave them alone on the train. The girl turns to the protagonist, saying he's gotten pretty strong and she's ready to see him prove it. She looks at him, mentioning his evolution from rank S to SSS, totally impressed. Then she drops the bomb that she doesn't want to fall behind, wanting to get stronger to fight alongside him. The protagonist feels a bit lost and asks if something's up with his face. She quickly denies it, saying they're almost in Yanjing, and changes the topic. With a serious look, the young man gazes out the window, thinking about what's ahead. The train speeds toward Yanjing, and Lin Yuan wonders what challenges are waiting for them in the city. Once at the Yanjing station, a student asks Professor Zhao if they're heading to the hotel to check in. The master shakes his head, saying their next stop is the Tianqi Bath Center. With a victorious grin, the red-haired friend turns to the crew, saying he totally called it. 30 minutes later, the group finally rolls up by bus to the epic Tianqi Bath Center. Shocked, the red-haired student asks if this is really a bath center, while another buddy wants to know what the director meant. Then Wang Jinzhe tells them to check out the young ladies if they don't believe him, pointing in their direction. Suddenly, the camera zooms in on a girl in a super flashy maid outfit. Next, a squad of young women in maid outfits welcomes them to the Tianqi Bath Center with big smiles. The dark-haired buddy comments that this place seems kinda sketchy and feels a bit uneasy. Quickly, the friend covers the protagonist's eyes and yells for him not to peek, claiming she saw nothing. Suddenly, a chubby dude in a suit greets them, saying they've finally made it to the spot. Director Wang greets the man as Chubby Huang and asks how he's been, leaving the students totally surprised. The host praises the director and his students, but the master tells him to cut the flattery and asks if everything's set. Chubby Huang assures them he's got everything ready as requested and gestures for them to step inside. Inside, an elevator starts to descend, and a voice informs the guests about the movement. The heavier man explains that the underground second floor is a secret bathhouse usually closed on weekdays. He continues, saying the director requested the place for a medicinal bath to boost their potential before the competition. The students react with a loud "oh," showing surprise and understanding at the big reveal. The red-haired friend chimes in, saying that even if he was totally off about it being a regular bath, it's still a bath, and that's what counts. Down on the underground second floor, some staff are busy pouring all sorts of ingredients into a massive steaming pool. They add this reddish liquid to the water, and it starts bubbling up like it's about to explode. Lin Yuan can't help but think about the pricey ingredients, like ghost flower and elephant tusk powder, that cost a fortune. He's thankful to the director, but he knows these medicinal goodies are just extras to boost strength. Then the professor announces that the medicinal bath is ready, and everyone should jump in. At this, the master warns that the bath cost him 2 billion out of his own pocket, and anyone who messes around will face consequences. The students are left speechless by the 2 billion price tag, while Wang Jinzhe thinks his dad is a rich loser. In just a few minutes, the protagonist feels his fatigue vanish and his chi flowing better, making energy absorption feel way easier. With his eyes closed, Lin Yuan zeroes in on soaking up the medicinal energy from the water. Professor Zhao kicks back in the water and sighs, saying how comfy it is. Suddenly, the red-haired student asks why the director is also there, and he replies that he's just enjoying the bath he paid for. Then Professor Zhao invites the other masters to join them in the medicinal bath. With a grin, Vice Director Li turns down the invite, telling them to soak for a bit. Then the white-haired teacher says she's not used to bathing in hot springs with others around. Professor Zhao insists they shouldn't be so dramatic, urging them to come down and join the fun in the water. The master mentions he has materials for 30 people and needs help, since the bath is just a boost, not a miracle. Then the protagonist realizes the director has some other plans cooking for them. The master pulls out a bright yellow crystal, saying it's the core of an emperor-grade shadow light dragon. He explains that the energy from an emperor beast is insane, and absorbing it could make your body explode. Shocked, Lin Yuan thinks he never thought he'd see a crystal core from an emperor-grade beast. The professor holds the crystal, and Lin Yuan finally gets why they're having this medicinal bath. Then the master explains that the bath is meant to help them absorb that emperor-grade crystal core. Shortly after, the professor dips the core into the water, and a massive wave of golden energy bursts out. Lin Yuan feels the energy field wrap around him like a warm hug, and his dragon spirit looks super happy. A message pops up, congratulating the player for absorbing emperor-grade energy and racking up 10,000 evolution points twice. The boy grins, thinking that if he keeps this up for 3 days, he'll easily score millions of evolution points. All the students start soaking up the energy while the professors keep a close eye on their progress. With a serious look, Master Zhao watches his students laser-focused on absorbing the energy from the core. The white-haired teacher shows a subtle, confident smile as she takes in the scene. With a hint of disdain, she lets out a small scoff, watching everything unfold with an air of superiority. Then she raises a crystal, announcing it's the core of the Black Ice Phantom Bear King for everyone to hear. She explains that it's also an Emperor-grade core and offers it as a thank you gift. Without a second thought, the teacher tosses the second crystal core straight into the medicinal pool. Another wave of powerful energy spreads through the water as the young ones keep absorbing. Master Zhao thinks that Vice Director Li must have convinced the mentor to toss in another Emperor core. Then Vice Director Lee watches the red-haired friend absorbing energy with a vibrant blue aura. He thinks with a smirk that even if the director made him use an Emperor core, it wouldn't change a thing. The Vice then kicks back in the water, thinking that in the end, this has really helped his nephew out. At that moment, Professor Zhao calls out to the Vice Director, and he confirms he saw what Wang Jinzhe was doing earlier. He says he knows the kid well, and that absorption depends on talent, pointing out Chu Tianyi, who's fast without any pills. The top-ranked student is indeed absorbing energy like a pro, with a multicolored aura showing off his natural talent. Meanwhile, Sumu Xue is also soaking up energy, as those who focus on a compatible type naturally have double the efficiency. With a smile, Vice Director Lee thinks he already figured out Ling Shuangyue's personal reasons for helping. The teacher then realizes that the crystal core was specifically set aside for her student and her affinity. Master Zhao wonders why the Vice didn't stop his red-haired friend, but gets that the risk of using the pill is on him. With that, Vice Director Lee thinks the kid's all about his smarts, but now he's totally flexing his skills. Then the professor asks if the Vice Director hasn't noticed the insane performance of his apprentice, Lin Yuan, who's just chilling, meditating, with this wild multicolored aura glowing around him, totally in the zone. Lin Yuan's laser-focused, pulling in all the energies around him, clearly sorting out those elemental vibes. Startled, Master Zhao wonders if the E-grade talent isn't absorbing Emperor energy, and the Vice Director tells him to take a closer look. Seriously, Vice Director Lee insists his buddy needs to pay more attention to what's going down with the kid. The professor's eyes go wide, and he's thinking maybe the kid's absorbing energy way too fast for his level. Half of Lin Yuan's body is lit up with fire energy, while the other half is giving off a strong, icy vibe. The energy around him is forming a vacuum, and he's sucking it all in at a speed that's just wild. Shocked, Master Zhao asks how this is even possible, and Vice Director Lee says the kid's got secrets, just like everyone else. Wang Jinzhe, looking super determined, says the real deal is that he's also leveling up and getting stronger. The Vice Director is blown away by how fast the energy is flowing, and wonders if Lin Yuan's the one making it happen. He watches Lin Yuan absorb energy like a pro and questions how the kid's pulling it off. Suddenly, his red-haired buddy's collar pops up as he starts absorbing energy with mad intensity too. Professor Zhao notices Wang Jinzhe's glow-up and calls him by the surprise name Xuangu. The boy's eyes are shining purple as this powerful aura wraps around him like a cozy blanket. The two masters are glued to Wang Jinzhe's transformation, which is hitting a critical moment. With a shout, the boy unleashes a massive amount of energy, making his eyes shine bright like a diamond. Then he announces he's finally broken through from Beast King 5 to 6 stars all at once. Proudly, his red-haired friend brags that even a genius like Chu Tianyi can't keep up, and he's the real chosen one. At that moment, Wang Jinzhe looks at Lin Yuan and calls out his name, sounding a bit confused. At first, he thinks the other kid's absorption speed is super slow, but then his eyes widen as he realizes it's not what it seems. Astonished, he sees that Lin Yuan's speed is actually crazy fast and powerful. Confused, he wonders if Lin Yuan popped a pill but doubts that could even happen. Indignant, he can't wrap his head around how an E-grade beast could absorb energy faster than him. Focused, Wang Jinzhe tries to pull in 3 types of energy at once. His eyes are shining with power as he declares that all that energy is his and no one else's. Then the boy shouts with all his might, determined to break through to a higher level. But the effort seems too much, and he ends up spitting out a mouthful of blood. Seeing this, the top-ranked student looks at Wang Jinzhe with surprise and shock. Professor Zhao warns that if the boy keeps this up, something bad might go down, but the Vice Director reassures him. With a quick move, Vice Director Lee cuts through the water towards his nephew. He grabs the kid and asks if he's lost his mind absorbing energy like that. Without a care, the boy replies he just wants to know how Lin Yuan absorbs energy so fast. His uncle tells him that the pill was to strengthen his foundation, not to compete until he explodes. Plus, Vice Director Lee points out that even though the protagonist has absorbed a ton of energy, his strength hasn't changed at all. Meanwhile, Lin Yuan keeps meditating peacefully, a bluish aura glowing from his calm body. The red-haired friend thinks an E-grade beast soul shouldn't absorb Emperor energy and wonders how much he'd actually improve. In light of this, the uncle advises his nephew not to waste energy on pointless stuff, since his worst enemy is himself. In the meantime, one of the students releases a strong yellow energy, showing off his impressive growth. Shortly after, a girl with dark hair also manifests a bright blue light as she evolves. Another boy with spiky hair shouts, and an intense golden aura wraps around him completely. Even the young man with red hair lets out a yell, and an orange energy explodes around him. Vice Director Lee watches everything with satisfaction, thinking this is looking good for them. While Professor Zhao stays serious, the Vice Director can't help but smile a little. The protagonist, for his part, keeps his eyes closed and a chill expression, showing no visible change yet. 2 days later, the scene shows the medicinal pool with a super chill and serene vibe. Sumu Xue and her master roll up together, and the young woman is totally vibing with her hard-earned results. Nearby, Chu Tianyi and his red-haired buddy are chatting it up while Professor Zhao keeps a close eye on them, probably judging their life choices. A young dude thanks his dad for the sweet upgrade from the medicinal bath and the crystal core. In response, the dad yanks his son's ear, saying he could have done better, leaving the kid wincing in pain. Ouch, talk about tough love. Lin Yuan and his homie are just chilling while other students are hyped about their progress. The main character glances over with a serious face, and Professor Zhao is deep in thought about this kid. Curious, the young man asks Master Zhao what's up, questioning why he hasn't leveled up yet. Lin Yuan tilts his head a bit, looking like he's actually pondering the instructor's question. Suddenly he says, "Oh snap, I forgot," leaving Professor Zhao totally baffled. Classic. Then the young man tells his little black dragon to munch on the evolution points and level up, and the dragon's all in. Boom. An intense energy blast erupts, and Master Zhao is shook, watching the young man glow like a human light bulb. The professor wonders what just went down and if the kid can actually handle this upgrade. Still in shock, the master asks if the young man now has the strength of a 6-star Beast King, and the boy nods, thinking about his 20 million points. No big deal, right? Meanwhile, Wang Jinzei is laughing loudly and acting all high and mighty about his own recent win. Professor Zhao chimes in, saying that leveling up too fast can mess with your foundation, bringing up someone who jumped to 7 stars as a cautionary tale. From a distance, Vice Director Li is watching the whole scene, saying it wasn't too shabby. Impressed, the Vice Director thinks the kid is a beast, having absorbed almost a third of all the energy in the pool. Talk about a power move. With a grin, he announces to everyone that it's time to hit the hotel and chill for a bit. Soon after, the scene shifts to the epic facade of the Grand Hotel Yanjing, where they'll be crashing. Inside, the hotel is straight up luxurious, with a modern vibe and bright lights everywhere. It's giving major rich kid energy. The camera pans around, showing off the elegant sofas and a fancy atmosphere that screams Instagram-worthy. A student mentions he heard the bestial University of Yanjing is also staying here with other students and professors. Sounds like a party. In the lobby, we see the protagonist with a girl and a chubby dude who's only thinking about food. Priorities, right? The girl says that after check-in, she'll take them to eat because Yanjing has some bomb food. Skeptical, the chubby friend quickly asks how she knows all this. Irritated, she snaps back that she did her research, questioning if that's a crime or something. Suddenly, heavy footsteps echo, and the camera zooms in on some serious shoes approaching them. The trio looks surprised at the newcomers, and there's definitely some tension in the air. Before them, an intimidating crew rolls in, with a big dude in a kimono and a woman in black leading the pack. Lin Yuan turns to his buddy, asking who those people are that just showed up. The boy explains they're students from the bestial University of Yanjing, and the two in front are pretty famous. Stepping forward is Chen Longqiang, a young man in a blue kimono with a confident grin that could light up a room. The other figure is Xu Xiao, with silver hair and a mask, giving off some serious, don't mess with me vibes. At that moment, the scene cuts back to the Grand Hotel Yanjing, where everyone is staying. Inside, a young man tells his captain that the vice and captain of Yanjing University are in the house. Hearing this, the captain cracks a slight smile, looking all competitive and ready to throw down. He introduces himself, saying he's Wu Xuangu, the vice captain of the Mo City University squad. The vice captain of Yanjing greets him, and they shake hands while a subtle glow surrounds them. Talk about a power handshake. This handshake reveals some serious strength and a clear power struggle. It's like a scene from a superhero movie. The leader of the hunters looks visibly surprised by the insane strength of his rival during the greeting. With a forced smile, he says it's a pleasure to meet him, even feeling the pressure. Awkward much? Next, the vice captain of Yanjing turns to his superior, greeting him as captain. But Xu Xiao just brushes him off, turning away without saying a word. Oof, that's cold. Because of this, Wu Xuangu is left hanging with his hand in the air, looking super embarrassed. Major cringe. The hall is filled with an awkward silence, and a falling leaf symbolizes the weird moment. Classic anime vibes. From a distance, the captain of the Mo City team watches the scene unfold with a serious expression, probably plotting his next move. Irritated, the leader of the hunters asks if the young man is ignoring him on purpose to roast his team. The vice captain of Yanjing awkwardly chuckles and apologizes for his buddy's weird vibes. He explains that his captain is shy and not really into chatting, prompting Wu Xuangu to ask him to let go of his hand. Now that his hand's free, the leader asks the crew where they're headed right now. His rival replies that they're off to the arena in the Beast Soul Hall, where all the cool kids train. From behind, a dude chimes in, telling Song Lan he should roll with them to the spot. The instructor warns that they've already checked in, reminding everyone to keep it chill. With a serious look, the white-haired young man nods while staring down his superior. Now in the Beast Soul Hall, there's a huge arena with an energy dome and tons of students grinding. Upon arrival, the crew says they're right on time, while Lin Yuan's daydreaming about the panda captain. In the center of the arena, a massive bluish panda pops up, surrounded by a water aura and a ton of energy. Intrigued, Lin Yuan glances over and asks who the other warrior is. His chubby friend explains that this is the vice captain of Jinghong Beast University. Soon after, a flaming monkey bursts onto the scene, and its name is Fang Qi, the fire monkey. The monkey glares at them with fierce eyes, radiating intense energy, ready to throw down. In the audience, a red-haired buddy excitedly shouts that the battle between the two will be epic to watch. Then the fire monkey gets into combat mode, flames blazing from its strong body. Fang Chi charges at the giant panda, enveloped in a powerful cutting fire aura. The bluish panda stands its ground, ready to take the hit with its water aura. The simian creature throws a flaming punch, but the bear calmly blocks it like a pro. Even under attack, the blue panda keeps a chill expression, focused on the intense brawl. Someone in the crowd comments that the monkey's fighting style is sharp, no wasted moves. The protagonist watches the fight closely, clearly impressed by the fighter's skills. At that moment, the panda plants its feet, making its fists glow with intense blue energy. Then, the blue bear counters with a powerful punch, and its water energy explodes in the arena. The flaming monkey tries to hold its ground, but it's clear that raw power isn't enough to win. Then the bluish bear launches a massive energy attack straight at its fiery opponent. The simian creature takes the hit full force, looking shocked at the panda's strength. Meanwhile, the panda shifts, seeming to gather even more power for the fight. Quickly, the blue bear charges in, delivering a rapid-fire combo of energized punches to its poor rival. Without defense, the fire monkey gets wrecked by the multiple blows, unable to react in time. In the audience, a red-haired kid is stunned, wondering what that boxing technique is. A buddy next to him explains that it's Wing Chun, and the fighter's got mad skills in beast soul battles. Lin Yuan focuses on the panda's gloves, questioning if they're a divine beast weapon. The same spectator confirms they're the robust tree gloves, a top-tier divine weapon. Realizing this, the protagonist thinks the weapon's effect is similar to Li Qingnan's, and it's best to keep a safe distance. Meanwhile, the fire monkey keeps taking hits in the arena during the intense showdown. Suddenly, the ape fighter yells, revealing a secret skill that's about to blow minds. With that, the fire creature unleashes a massive wave of blazing energy at the bluish panda. The aquatic bear, in turn, braces for impact, looking super confident to counter the blow. With the force of the attack, the arena floor shakes and cracks as dust flies everywhere. After the smoke clears, the fire monkey stands tall, its flaming aura even more intense. The red-haired spectator is shocked, not expecting the opponent to have a secret technique. His friend comments that it's not smart to reveal a hidden skill before the real competition. He explains that these techniques are special and only mastered by experienced beast soul masters. The guy in the floral shirt adds that if the monkey loses, the morale of Jinghang's students will tank, which is why he pulled out his last card. In the arena, the flaming monkey charges in with a fist ablaze, ready for a powerful finishing move. He then throws the fire strike, but the bluish panda nimbly dodges the fierce attack. Still, the ape fighter keeps going, and his flaming paw just barely grazes past the agile opponent. Surprised, the monkey wonders why that chubby panda is so quick on the draw. The blue bear asks if it's cool before landing a sick uppercut right to the fiery rival's chin. That hit sends the fire monkey flying, and he looks totally dazed from the impact. With a mix of pain and shock, the ape fighter clearly can't keep up with the opponent. Next, the flaming creature crashes down to the arena floor, while the panda just chills, watching. Victorious, the blue bear stays calm and brings his paws together, showing off some serious zen after the fight. In the crowd, the red-haired spectator grumbles that if the monkey had used his moves earlier, the fight could have been epic. He keeps going, saying it's a bummer since the panda didn't even need to pull out his secret skills. Annoyed, the chubby friend thinks that dude just wants to gather intel and sees things way differently than everyone else. Back in the arena, the winner bows as his panda form slowly fades into the air. Chen Jushan then stretches and asks if there are any geniuses in the house, challenging someone to step up. In the Beast Soul Hall, the announcer shouts that the ultimate champ of the battle is the master of Wing Chun. The chubby buddy comments that the winner totally handled the fight without even showing his trump card. He adds that a real martial artist should level up in battle, which the other sees as breaking through limits. At that moment, the protagonist turns to his friend, asking if she wants to give fighting a shot too. But the girl shoots back that her path is different, and fighting would just be a waste of time. A guy in a purple kimono jumps in, telling her to chill, saying he's just keeping it real so Lin Yuan doesn't forget his place. He questions whether the protagonist isn't just trash and why he pretends to be special, claiming his true colors will show in the competition. The girl gets annoyed by the jabs, but her friend holds her arm to keep her cool. The protagonist just shakes his head, and the young woman looks at him, surprised by his chill vibe. With a serious look, Lin Yuan watches the panda captain in the arena, striking a challenging pose. The winner from the last fight gets annoyed by the boy's expression, asking what's up with that look. Meanwhile, the chubby friend thinks about the protagonist's personality, wondering if he's got what it takes to face Chen Jushan. Suddenly, a young dude in a slick suit pops up in the stands, saying he wants to take the stage. With bright blue eyes and a confident grin, the new challenger Songlan faces everyone with calm determination. The leader of the hunters tells Songlan that, as captain of City Mo, his fight will impact the team's morale, but they're ready to roll. Then one of the members says if the captain can't go, he'll step up himself, claiming the top-ranked one doesn't need to fight. He adds with a cocky smile that he can totally win solo. The gray-haired boy comments that after convincing Tianyi not to fight, he didn't expect the other to show up just to prove himself. After all, he knows his friend's 7-star power was boosted with a pill, and that shaky foundation won't hold against the panda. But since his friend seems so sure, the gray-haired boy wonders if he's got a backup plan. So, the vice captain Wu Xuangu of City Mo Beast University introduces himself to his opponent. His adversary smiles, saying it's a coincidence, as he's been itching to challenge City Mo Beast University. Next, the panda captain from Shuiduan University calls for a good fight by activating his beast soul fusion. Seeing this, the leader of the hunters faces his opponent with an equally confident grin. Without wasting a second, the vice captain of Mo City also activates his beast soul fusion to transform. The audience buzzes about the golden-winged king centipede, a rare beast soul worthy of the vice captain, totally clueless about who will win. Its insectoid form releases a powerful aura, showcasing its full transformation and demanding respect. Quickly, the creature lunges at the panda with a burst of poisonous energy, kicking off the battle. The bear then defends himself by creating a barrier of green bamboo around him to block the attack. A spectator explains that this is bamboo armor, a divine weapon that totally nullifies the opponent's poison. Because of this, the toxic mist from the challenger crashes into the defense, but is completely neutralized by the protection. Soon after, the panda charges at the enemy, now wielding a blue energy shield. He then tries to smack the opponent with a powerful blow using his crystalline energy weapon. The winged being says the weapon is cool, but it won't be easy, as he's reached the 7-star Beast King realm, boosting his flight. But the panda thinks the opponent's flying skills should be weak, but turns out he's packing some serious power. Out of nowhere, the centipede launches a barrage of poisonous needles at the bear, who's now chillin' in a purple mist. Then, the creature flexes its divine beast weapon, showing off some next-level strength. Someone in the crowd recognizes it as the corrosive bone poison needle, a Beast King weapon that's no joke. The gray-haired dude explains it's obviously a gift from his favorite uncle, because who doesn't love family hand-me-downs? He goes on to say this is just how his buddy usually rolls in a fight. The poisonous needles hit the panda right on, and he's definitely feeling the sting. Instantly, the bear starts to feel it, and a purple skull pops up, signaling some serious danger. The insect claims the poison needle is doing its thing, and now it's time for him to seal the deal. Next, a green energy sphere forms in the centipede's mouth, ready to blast off. He adds that the poison from that needle is a tough cookie to crack. The winged creature warns that the toxin is already spreading through the panda's system while launching another attack. Then, the insect grabs the Wing Chun master with its claws, pinning him in mid-air. A surprised spectator comments that the vice captain of Mo City seems to have the upper hand after all. But the gray-haired dude notices that even with the advantage, it's way too early to count out the panda fighter. At that moment, a blonde kid with glasses laughs, pointing out how funny it is for someone who won't even fight to critique someone else's battle. The sharp observer turns around and, since the other is so eager to compete, asks why they don't spice things up a bit. Confused, the bespectacled kid asks what he means by that. He replies it's simple and suggests they bet on who's gonna win the fight. Immediately, the gray-haired bettor declares that the bear is totally gonna win this epic showdown. The blonde is shocked, since the panda fighter is poisoned, yet his friend believes he'll pull through. With a grin, the gray-haired dude confirms, saying they're totally making a bet. Confidently, the bespectacled kid claims he's gonna snag that beast weapon for free. He scoffs, showing he's got all the faith in his victory and totally underestimating his rival's bet. On the battlefield, the centipede declares its toxins will corrode the panda's bones and that he should just give up. Suddenly, the bluish bear breaks free from the creature's claws, flexing some surprising strength. The winged creature wonders how its opponent still has so much power, despite being poisoned. With a shout, the calm fighter charges forward, gearing up for a massive punch against his enemy. His paw glows with intense blue energy as he lands a precise blow. The punch connects hard with the king centipede, sending it flying from the impact. Shocked by the twist, the bespectacled spectator wonders what just happened. The crowd is buzzing, questioning how the Wing Chun master is still fighting strong despite the toxins, while another thinks the insect is just full of tricks. Then the panda goes on the offensive with a flurry of quick and brutal strikes, showing who's boss. Fallen and stunned, Wu Xuangu can't believe he lost and is totally bummed out. With rage, the creature yells that it will finish off the bear, charging at him with all its might. At that moment, a metallic glove appears on the panda fighter's hand, glowing with powerful green energy. He then launches a massive blue energy attack at the incoming enemy. The blow hits the centipede squarely, which starts to shatter under the force of the impact. Holding the defeated opponent, the victor hears the insectoid scream that it gives up the fight. At that moment, the captain of the Shuiduan watches the opponent, while someone asks if he's really a 7-star Beast King, since he seemed weak. Then the blonde questions how his gray-haired friend knew the other wouldn't win, and he explains the difference between strength and experience. The chubby buddy of Lin Yuan's team teases Li Qingnan about humility, and the protagonist smiles, feeling pretty good. Back in the arena, the winner starts to revert to his human form. Now as Chen Jushan, he greets the opponent, saying that his poison was strong and almost took him down. All battered, the Vice of City Mo admits defeat, saying he's not as skilled as the winner. The Panda Captain then asks the opponent if he can still face his challenge in his current state. A new fighter steps up, Chen Longxiang, the Vice Captain of Yanjing University, and they ask for his thoughts. The protagonist's crew watches closely as the Vice of Yanjing seems ready to throw down. At that moment, the young dude with gray hair is super curious about the strength of the legendary fighter from Yanjing. Out of nowhere, a hand discreetly tugs on Chen Longxiang's clothes, grabbing his attention. He spins around and sees who it is, someone calling him captain and asking if everything's cool. The person with long hair, rocking a cap and mask, shakes their head at their boss. They whisper that the director said no drama and they should keep an eye on him. The captain grins, saying it's all chill, just some fun, and if the director gets mad, he'll take the heat. The masked person just tells him to do his thing while keeping a close watch. Lin Yuan is peeping the whole thing, thinking the captain of that squad seems kinda shy. So, the vice captain of Yanjing struts toward the center of the arena with a serious vibe. The winner of the last fight is seen from behind, just waiting for the next round. Then Chen Longxiang hands over a small box to the other guy as a gift. The panda fighter takes the box and asks what this surprise is all about. He explains it's a Qingbi pill for detox and recovery, cause fighting now would be totally unfair. The vice captain gives a thumbs up, saying the pill is a gift so they can throw down together when the other's back in action. Lin Yuan's beefy friend is blown away by the generosity, noting that the Qingbi pill is worth 200 grand. The protagonist teases his buddy, saying he's not a noble, built his life from scratch, and doesn't waste cash. Just then, the girl from the team calls him out, asking about the hundreds of thousands he dropped on dinner with them. The gluttonous boy turns red, feeling the heat from the reminder, while his friends crack up. So, Chen Jushan accepts the gift and thanks him, promising to go all out when he's back on his feet. The vice captain of Yanjing smiles and agrees to his future opponent's challenge. Half an hour later, the winner of the last fight thanks him for the pill and says he's all healed up. The panda fighter then tells the vice to kick off the fight and he's totally down for the challenge. With a shout, the challenger from Yanjing starts his fusion, unleashing a massive blue energy. He transforms into an ancient wild elephant, a beast that's both powerful and intimidating. His opponent doesn't waste time either, igniting his own beast soul fusion with flames. The crowd is shook by the panda fighter's insane power, wondering if he's just a Beast King master. Lin Yuan's crew remembers that, according to the deets, he's actually an 8-star Beast King. A buddy comments that if everyone could level up that fast, then others could have evolved too. The girl recalls her master saying that knowing your own Dao lets you fight against a beast lord. The protagonist thinks this info is way more crucial than he thought before. Meanwhile, Chen Jushan's panda charges forward with a green bamboo shield ready to attack. Then the bear challenges the opponent to go all out. His rival replies that's exactly what he planned to do. Immediately, the transformed bear pulls off his secret technique and creates a green energy shield for protection. Suddenly, the elephant attacks with a brutal stomp that cracks the whole arena floor. With a direct hit, the giant paw of the beast slams against the bamboo barrier, smashing it to bits. Unable to handle the impact, the panda's green shield shatters, disintegrating under the weight of the opponent. Lin Yuan's team is left speechless, totally shocked by what they just saw. The elephant's foot doesn't stop and keeps coming down with crazy power, kicking up a massive cloud of dust. In that moment, the force of the impact is so intense that a blue energy explodes beneath the creature's foot. Hit squarely, the panda captain spits blood, seriously hurt by the devastating blow from his rival. Then the massive beast looks down at its fallen opponent, who reverts back to human form. The audience is stunned by the power of Yanjing University, questioning the strength of their true captain. At the same time, the vice captain of Mo City, who lost earlier, is freaking out seeing the bear get crushed, realizing the huge power gap compared to the elephant. He finally gets how talented the fighters from Yanjing are, completely blown away. Suddenly, Chu Tianye, the captain of Mo City, steps up and challenges Chen Longxiang to a fight. The winner of the last match, in turn, asks the newcomer who he thinks he is to throw down with him. Confidently, the dude with black hair steps up, claiming he's the captain of Beast University from Mo City. But one of his teammates is all, "Chill out, man, don't go wild." Then, out of nowhere, the vice captain of Yanjing grins, saying the Beast University is exactly who he wanted to face. A masked figure from the Yanjing squad chimes in, saying winning just one round would be enough for them. The vice captain, totally caught off guard, turns to the masked dude and asks when he even showed up. The crowd starts buzzing, wondering if that's the legendary captain of Yanjing. Ignoring the stares, the long-haired masked guy mutters that he hates being the center of attention. The Yanjing vice captain jumps in, saying the director will be mad if they keep this up and suggests just one more round. The masked dude is all in for a fight if his buddy wants another match. But then he backs out, remembering a past beatdown and saying he's not down for that again. So, the vice captain apologizes, saying his boss spoke, and he can't keep fighting. Adjusting his cap, the mysterious captain suggests saving the showdown for the official competition. Meanwhile, Chu Tianyi from Mo City is just chilling, watching everything with a serious vibe. Lin Yuan's chubby friend pipes up, pointing out how strong the masked captain is, saying even the vice listens to him. For the main guy, this hits hard, realizing Yanjing University is way more powerful than he thought. His friend drops some knowledge, saying the old vice captain lost his spot to the current Sumu Shui. Hearing this, Lin Yuan turns to his teammate and suggests she should throw down a bit. But she's all, what's the point of fighting if I'm not feeling it? Winning here is pointless. She thinks the only one who could take her down is the vice from Yanjing. The gray-haired dude is shocked, asking if she could handle the panda captain in a fight. She replies it'd be about 7-3, and he asks if she's the 7 and he's the 3. She nods with puffed cheeks, saying he's totally underestimating her. Then the young man thinks she's stronger than he thought and definitely has some tricks. She says he has no clue, and if there's someone he can't beat, she'll have his back. Suddenly a voice announces that the director just rolled up. A bunch of figures are seen climbing the stairs, heading to the combat arena. The Yanjing vice captain and his masked buddy greet the director who just arrived. Lin Yuan and his chubby friend are shocked, and the buddy identifies the director as Su Dian from Yanjing. With a serious vibe, the director approaches the group. The protagonist notices his friend acting weird and asks what's up with her. He thinks she didn't go to Yanjing to avoid someone, wondering if it's the director. Another director praises Yanjing University, saying the vice captain put on a sick show in the fight. Director Su just shrugs, saying it was one round and the fighter got lucky. Meanwhile, the gray-haired dude watches the two directors, wondering if Director Su and his friend are related, thinking back to her past. So, Lin Yuan asks if the Yanjing director is related to her, and she confirms he's her nominal father. She explains there's no real relationship and there never will be. A director suggests they step back to avoid stressing the students, and the other agrees. The mustached guy smiles, happy they won't interfere anymore. But Director Su looks sad, thinking about how Zhuer, his daughter, still hasn't forgiven him. As the directors leave, the protagonist suggests they head back to the hotel. The friend nods, looking down, still shaken from earlier. Meanwhile, the other guy watches them from a distance, coming down the arena stairs with an angry look. At the same time, a white-haired young man wonders if that was Wu Moxuan. He tells his buddy that the dude went to Northern Beast University, which is super strong. Lin Yuan remembers the protagonist's past and his crazy destructive power. He says he saw this coming and that his rival still hasn't learned his lesson. Later that night, the crew is back at the Yanjing Hotel, just chilling and resting. After the shower, our boy says he feels way better and totally ready to start training. He then decides to blow all 50 million evolution points to level up. 2 days zoom by, and the big day of the competition finally rolls around. In the hotel lobby, at 8 in the morning, a bunch of students are already gathering for the event. The chubby friend spots another team's green uniform, and the protagonist gives him a little side-eye. Out of nowhere, someone asks for permission, grabbing his attention. The brown-haired girl pops up and apologizes for being a tad late. Then the boys from the other team are left speechless by the newcomer's glow-up. The young woman asks the protagonist what he's been up to for the past 2 days. He replies that he's been grinding hard and made some solid progress. Surprised, the girl smiles and asks if the friend really managed to evolve. Meanwhile, Lin Yuan's rivals are lurking, eavesdropping on the convo from a distance. One of them doubts the protagonist's progress and wonders if he's leveled up to a 7-star Beast King. The boy explains that he absorbed Emperor energy and hit the intermediate stage of a 6-star Beast King. Then the trio is shook by the news, thinking it's a pretty tiny upgrade. With that, the captain of Mo City laughs, finding it hilarious to call that little bump evolution. The gray-haired crew then chuckles, thinking he must be joking about his level. At that moment, the directors roll in and ask if the students are ready for the tournament. The mustached director tells them to grab this chance, as it'll be the most glorious moment of their lives. Then he tells everyone to show off the power of Mo City University. Finally, the moment arrives and everyone gathers in the arena of Yanjing University. One of the directors excitedly announces that the freshmen from the best universities should step up. With that, the Yanjing University team struts in with their red flag. Next, the Mo City University squad enters the arena in their bright orange uniforms. Soon after, it's Sichuan University's turn to march in with their green flag and white uniforms. Lastly, Jinghong University rolls in with their short representative leading the pack. At this, the protagonist's buddy jokes that the captain of the other team looks like a little kid. The boy with pink hair and a mask glares at everyone with a confident and determined vibe. At this, the friend spills that his name is Han Yantong, a genius only 14 years old. Then he whispers that the young dude has a rare thing called an innate beast soul. This special ability wakes up at birth and gives crazy talent to its user. The buddy keeps explaining that the kid is already an 8-star Beast King, and his soul is something else. His power lets him give orders just by talking, making him perfect for attack, defense, and support. The protagonist is mind-blown discovering such an insane and totally wild power. Then the chubby friend comments that Jinghang University seems to want victory at all costs. Lin Yuan wonders why such a talent wasn't snatched up by Yanjing or Mo City. Then the chubby one replies that it's because the kid's university is the closest to home. He explains that the boy's parents are soul masters, so he's never been independent. Plus, he can't speak freely to avoid causing chaos with his speech power. Our boy thinks that the young man is a talented and spoiled master, but his power makes up for everything. Back in the arena, a director welcomes the newcomers to their first national competition. The man talks about how the future now rests on the shoulders of the new generation. With the teams displayed on a big screen, he says, they are the new hope of humanity. The director keeps going, stating they'll grow stronger with every step they take. He then shouts with arms wide open that they must forge their own future. The man asks if the students can do this, and everyone shouts yes back. Satisfied, the director announces he'll explain the format and rules of the tournament. And after that, the competition will officially kick off, and the gray-haired man thinks that the day has finally arrived.